What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. Lava Explosion in MHA1 Chapter 1 Igarashi Masada. Advertisement, I'm going out, said a child wearing a light blue kindergarten uniform with a little yellow hat hanging from a slice of bread. Oh, today's Masada sauce is as vigorous as ever. The woman wiping the dishes in the kitchen narrowed her face, be careful on the way. I got it. That's right, this kid is me, an ordinary, passionate young man who is about to enter university and is in a daze doing the second dream. My last life on the way to school, Masada's mind recalled the past. Just like the old story of Crossing, Masada sits in front of the computer, turns on the potato chips, clicks on the new episode of One Piece, fills a big mouthful of Fat House happy water, and is about to collapse on the chair while enjoying the beautiful summer life. Coke it was knocked over on the old socket, and then Masada was accidentally electrocuted. When Masada woke up, she came to the hospital of this world and became a newborn. This world is still very similar to the previous world on the whole. The towering glass buildings, the flat and spacious roads, the shopping malls where people come and go, everything seems to be no different from the society before Crossing, except at the beginning of the matter, in Qingqing City in the Tianzhou area, with the birth of a luminous baby, supernormal phenomena appeared all over the world. Although the reason is unknown, the passage of time never stops. Before you know it, supernormal becomes ordinary, and fantasy becomes reality. Right now, the world has become a superhuman society in which 80% of the human population has a special physique, and in this chaotic world, a profession that was once only dreamed of by people has stepped onto the stage of history. With the normalization of extraordinary, the crime rate showed an explosive growth. Before the government completely completed the amendment of the law, some brave people came forward and started Hero S, as described in the comics. Activity: vigilance against extraordinary, and defense against maliciousness. Hero S, who quickly gained popular support, became a formal profession under the impetus of the world's fishing boats, and their activity was correspondingly obtained. Advertisement income provided by the state. The prestige given by the people. This year's Jung is 4 years old. In this world, quirk can be discovered before the age of 4, and when he got up this morning, Jung too awakened his quirk. While brushing his teeth, Masada found that her arm was burning in the mirror. Ecstatic, he immediately told his mother Igarashi Taisaki, Daddy went to work, about this discovery, and his mother also agreed to take his wife to do the quirk test after school today. This is also the reason why Masada is so happy today. The grandma who just sat in her seat couldn't help but push the little girl next to her. Nah, 100. I woke up this morning, quirk, I can get angry, I'm really super handsome. From now on, I will definitely become a super handsome man like All Might. The name of the little girl sitting next to Masada is Yayorozu Momo. She was the first friend Masada met when she went to the kindergarten. She was lying on the table and got up after hearing the voice from the side. You are the wife. The quirk is also awakened. If you can get fire on your body, it is really a powerful quirk. I heard that the quirk of Hero S, Endeavor of No. Well, even though Endeavor is also very strong, All Might really has an appetite for me, as she said. Masada bends her arm to show off the muscles that don't exist on her arm. Fists and muscles are a man's romance. Hey, you are an idiot with muscles in your brain. Yayorozu Momo held his forehead with his hand, and said helplessly. Apparently he was already quite surprised by the bloody idiot on the side. Soon, the school bell rang, and Masada, who could not wait, rushed out of the school gate and saw his father and mother beckoning to him. Masada sauce, here and here. Hearing the shouting of his father and mother, Masada he ran over with his head down quickly, with a look of resentment, but he was inspired to become a muscular expert. Why did he put on such a weak name? Masada's father is called Igarashi Masano, and his mother is Igarashi Taisaki. Obviously, this lazy couple took a word from their own names and used it as the name of Masada. Speaking of which, Masada's fathers and mothers said this. The name is very satisfying. It didn't take long for the Igarashi family to come to the door of the building called the Quirk Registration Office. In this society, every citizen who has awakened from the quirk will be forced to come to the Quirk Registration Office to register his quirk. This is also the state's supervision and control of quirks. After all, in this superhuman society, powerful quirks can be caused. The damage is huge. Advertisement: the most addictive games, no one under 18, no one under 18, no one under 18. Because it was already evening, and there were not many people in the registration office, with the company of his parents, Masada came to a room dedicated to the test quirk. Children, I heard your parents say that you have awakened the quirk today, so you can use your quirk with all your strength now. A bald middle-aged recorder in a white coat and heavy glasses on the bridge of his nose said kindly with a smile. Is my quirk finally revealed? Is it finally on the road to become a hero? S. The whole person is excited. This hot-blooded scene that can only appear in comics, I can't help but think, it feels like the whole person is going to burn. No, this is not a feeling. Soon Masada realized that she was indeed burning. It may be a bit inappropriate to say that it is burning, just like instinct. Masada didn't stop him, so he used his own quirk. In Masada's heart, his own quirk produced flames, but in the eyes of Masada's parents and the recorder, an amazing scene happened. As the flame burning time on his body increased, Jung too seemed to melt. Just take the liberty to ask, what are the quirks of your husband and wife? The researcher raised his hand and wiped his sweat. The high temperature from Masada's body made him breathless. I can produce flames on my body, and my wife can turn my body into rocks. However, both of us have very weak quirks. For example, the flames generated by me can only be regarded as flames, and the rocks that my wife turned into are also very fragile. Masada's father Jungye also said, wiping his sweat. Depending on the situation, your son perfectly combined the quirk of your husband and wife, and if he can achieve this level the first time he uses the quirk, it is obvious that he is a born hero. The researcher said excitedly. This is the first time I have seen such a quirk, how beautiful and powerful it is. Lava. Burning rock. Chapter 2 Become a Hero. Advertisement. The Masada on the side listened to the discussion of the three adults in the distance, and looked down at her body. She was also taken aback. Although there were not many parts that melted, she did have lava flowing slowly on her body, and even more. The drops fell on the ground, making a sizzling sound, and also exuding a pungent scent of sulfur. It seems that my unconscious awakening in the morning did not really show my quirk. Is it because I just awakened? Masada stared at her melting arm and muttered to herself. No, this quirk of mine. Masada was taken aback. He was still a little confused, and then turned into ecstasy. Isn't this the same ability as Marine Marshal Sakazuki, the owner of Magma fruit in One Piece? Like a kid who got a new toy, Masada felt ecstasy in his heart, and then he clenched his right fist, stretched his arm back, and placed his left arm in front of his chest. Feeling the scorching breath on the right arm, he shouted. Dogs are addicted to Red Lotus. However, there was no imaginary lava jetting out, nor did the imaginary scene of destruction appear, and some were just the scorching temperature driven by the swing of Masada's right arm. What's going on? Masada glanced blankly. Is my quirk too weak at the moment? The other three people who heard the roar of Masada Middle School 2 also covered their mouths and chuckled while watching the embarrassing scene. After returning home, Masada was still thinking about what was just now. The Igarashi and his wife looked at Masada's frowning, and while feeling funny, they were also a little bit distressed in their hearts. Hurry up and wash your hands and come over for dinner. Just put the quirk aside first. Mom and Dad will discuss your quirk with you later. Advertisement. The Masada who came back to his senses also agreed casually. After eating, the Masada who was just about to return to the room was pulled by her mother and pushed onto the sofa. My parents have no say on the quirk. After all, although we have a quirk, the quirk is too weak. Masada's mother said, you heard it at the quirk registration office today. Your quirk's destructive power is as good as it's powerful. It can be said that it is born to be a hero. But my mother still wants to ask you, do you really yearn for this to be a hero? After listening to his mother, Masada said without hesitation, of course, it's my dream to become a passionate hero. And becoming a hero, earns very high income, and it ranks highly on the taxation list. The previous ones are all professional hero, After all, God has given himself the privilege of being in this superhuman society. If he spends his life plainly, how can he be worthy of the two passions of his previous life? The 9-to-5 life is very stable and good, but as expected, the intense and exciting life is more suitable for me. Since Masada-chan has made your own decision, your mother will not object too much, but since Masada-chan wants to be a hero, you must pay attention to your safety. Masada's mother finished listening. Later, he narrowed his eyes and spoke to Masada mildly. After all, in a society with all might, there are very few criminals who dare to confront hero. The relationship between hero and criminals is like the birth of quirk. The police and thieves in the former society. With the powerful deterrence of all might, criminals are invisible. But Masatakan, your quirk is too dangerous for ordinary people. Since you want to become a hero in the future, then you must be inspired to enter hero high school. Before you enter high school, you must not use your own quirk at will. After all, your quirk will accompany this destruction as long as you use it. Masada's father leaned on the chair and exclaimed, because Masada has shown extraordinary wisdom since he was a child. Although he is often very passionate, Masada's father believes that as a parent, as long as he can guide Masada not to a crooked road, other Masada can be confident. I know, Daddy, even if I want to use the quirk, I have nowhere to use it. If I accidentally use it at home, I will burn my home. I am even more afraid to use it outside. After all, it is illegal to use the quirk at will. I don't want to be taken back from the police station by you. Thinking of this, Masada is also a little bit distressed. Her quirk is indeed extremely powerful, but just like what happened in the quirk registry today, it seems that her quirk has to be further developed to fully demonstrate its power. However, due to the dangers of the hero society, the government does not allow random use of quirk. If it's okay if it's quirks that are physical modification or non-destructive, you can use it in your own home. But a very destructive quirk like himself really has no chance to exercise. Forget it, take a step and take a step. Tell Bai your quirk tomorrow, surprise her, Because the body was still a child, Jung was thinking about it so much and fell asleep on the sofa. Advertisement. The next day, in the classroom. Hey 100, I told you, yesterday I went to the quirk registration office to test. My quirk is not as simple as getting angry. You may not believe it, my quirk is super, explosive and handsome. Masada stomped on the chair with one foot, slapped his hands on Yaoyorozu Momo's table, and shouted excitedly. It's so noisy, isn't it just awakening the quirk? As for being so excited, I can use my quirk a long time ago. Although Yaoyorozu Momo said disgustingly, his eyes still showed curiosity. Hey, Bai, you are really arrogant. Wow, tell me quickly, or I'll punch you. Yaoyorozu Momo also punched his cute little fist as he spoke. Stop teasing you, my quirk is Magma. It can generate lava everywhere on my body. This is also the most basic application. Although I want to know what further usage of my quirk has, but because my quirk is too dangerous, I'm not good at using it at will, and I can only know it until I'm in high school. At this point, Masada couldn't help but sigh. But it can't be used, it must be very distressing. Magma, that's really a powerful quirk. I have never heard a similar quirk appear before. Yaoyorozu Momo was indeed surprised, and a finger was placed unconsciously on his small fleshy mouth. Looks very cute. But if you want to train, you can come to my house. There is a special quirk training field in my house. You can use quirk as you like. Really, that's really great. Can you let me visit after school today? Be sure to let me visit. This is my lifelong request. Masada immediately beamed his eyes and excited after hearing this. Holding Yaoyorozu Momo's shoulders with his hands, a small face kept approaching him. Okay, follow me after school. Also, it's too close, Yaoyorozu Momo stumblingly said, looking at the face of Masada who kept getting closer, with a little blush on his face. Chapter 3 The life of the rich is so unpretentious and boring. Advertisement soon, it was time for school. Holding hands with Yaoyorozu Momo, I walked to the gate of the school. Although Igarashi has an 18-year-old soul, but because of the fact that he was not only a hot-blooded idiot or a family squatting in his previous life, he has never seriously talked about a girlfriend since he was a child, who had contact with the opposite S**X. There are not many opportunities, plus the blushing Yaoyorozu Momo wearing a kindergarten uniform is really so cute. Therefore, Masada's heartbeat could not help but speed up a bit. Jang-tae-chan, Mom is here, soon. Masada saw the energetic mother in the crowd in front of the school beckoning to herself, and trot with Yaoyorozu Momo. Allah, this little girl is really cute. You are Shanta-chan's little girlfriend. Mrs. Igarashi still squinted her eyes and smirked with a narrow smile. Indeed, Yaoyorozu Momo's hair lost to a simple ponytail. His small face was slightly fat, jet black eyebrows, big watery eyes, plus a small mouth, with a rose-like pink and white tenderness. Although her skin is immature, she knows she is a beauty when she grows up. It was nothing more than Mrs. Igarashi couldn't help teasing her. Yaoyorozu Momo's face became more rosy after hearing the wife's mother said that she was the wife's little girlfriend, and her eyes seemed to be covered with a layer of mist. Her head was so shy that she couldn't even speak. Okay Mom, this is my deskmate, she's Yaoyorozu Momo. Don't look at Bai's very weak look, she is unexpectedly reliable. Masada couldn't help being embarrassed when she heard her mother's words. Face, explained quickly, but didn't know that his appearance was more like hiding something. By the way, Mom, please go back today. I'm going to Bai's house to play. I will call you when I'm over. Masada quickly shifted his mother's attention. And Yaoyorozu Momo also said at this time. Well, Auntie, today I invite Masada to be a guest at my house. Let Masada have dinner at my house in the evening. After the meal, I will ask someone to send Masada home, don't worry. Hearing this, Masada's mother didn't think much about it. After all, Yaoyorozu Momo's elders will definitely take care of these two minorities, and there will be no security problems. However, this little girl's last name is Yaoyorozu Wan. In the company where I and my husband work, there seems to be a director whose surname is also Yaoyorozu Wan. I don't know if it's a coincidence. Thinking in her heart, Masada's mother said with a smile. Okay, then mother will go home first. Masada will pay attention to her own safety. Hi, advertisement. So, is this your home? Looking at this building that looked like a European manor, Jung asked with a twitching face. Yes, including the surrounding woods, as well as the back mountain, this whole place belongs to my house. Yaoyorozu Momo was a little puzzled when he heard Masada's question. Is there any problem, Masada? Is it a problem? Of course there is, Bai. Your house actually has a mine, right? There must be a mine. There seems to be a mine, but it should be abroad, right? Yaoyorozu Momo was still confused, and Masada suddenly asked what he was doing. At this time, the Masada has no words to pick up Yaoyorozu million. After all, a person from a normal family background will be shocked when he sees such a mansion. Is this the rich people's world? I don't envy it at all. But Mrs. Tae, your saliva is almost flowing out. Disgusting. Yaoyorozu Momo on one side looked disgusted. Entering the mansion, Masada felt that his eyes were not enough. The romantic and solemn temperament, the high hall and the magnificent door, the round arch windows and the cornerstone masonry all showed grace and luxury. Fresh and unconventional, the white plaster walls combined with the light red roof tiles, the continuous arches and corridors, and the living room with tall windows make people feel refreshed. There is no shortage of elegance and comfort. The porch and foyer stretch out from north to south. The living room and bedroom are equipped with low windows and hexagonal viewing bay windows. The ingenuity of the European-style closet and the classic-style dark cell wine cabinet in the villa can be seen from the details here. In other words, what does your family do? It's too rich. Do I know what I do at home? But I should have started a company. My parents seem to work in Yayorozu Wan Group. Yayorozu Momo, who was walking around his villa with excitement, said casually. Advertisement, isn't that the place where my parents work? Damn this gap, how happily this makes me fall in love. Masada bent forward in a frustrated body and burst into tears. Oops, I accidentally said what was in my heart, you didn't hear anything. Looking at Yayorozu Momo's stunned expression, then the blushing was all over the cute little face, and it was obvious that he had heard the words of Masada completely. Just when Jungtae thought she was going to run away, Yayorozu Momo, although still shy, walked firmly to Jungtae, held Jungtae's hand tightly, closed his eyes and shouted, Jitae will always be my good friend. Is this a good person card? No, looking at Bai's shy look, he obviously has a good impression on me. We are also childhood sweethearts like this, right? Masada was thinking wildly in her heart, but she also responded. The same is true for 100, I will never abandon you, anyway, let's go to the quirk training ground. Yayorozu Wan, who had recovered, also thought of today's theme, and walked towards the training ground in a dazed manner. Big. Except for the word Masada, I don't know how to describe it. The quirk training ground was built on a clearing near the back mountain. Masada took a visual inspection. It covers an area the size of 2 standard football fields. The entire building is circular, divided into 2 areas, one half is open air and the other half is indoor. There is also a curved ceiling on the top of the interior part. The whole is built of steel and glass, and the whole building is full of modern and sci-fi atmosphere. There is nothing to say about the outdoor part. You can test and train your quirk at will. For the indoor part, there are various training equipment, such as treadmills, climbers, sandbags, etc. I really understand this. In short, there are some physical training equipment and some simulated areas like cities and mountains. You will go and see for yourself later. So far, our protagonist Igarashi Masada has been hit hard again. The life of the rich is so unpretentious and boring. So, I don't envy it at all, but your saliva is coming out again, asterisk. Chapter 4 Test Quirk Advertisement. Shaking his small head vigorously, Masada threw these miscellaneous things out of her mind. The important thing now is to test my quirk. Thinking of this, Masada's eyes seemed to have flames. Ooh, is the exciting time finally here? After that, Jung couldn't wait to throw away Yayorozu Momo, and rushed into the open-air part of the training ground by himself. Yayorozu Momo, who left the bun with bulging cheeks, fell in the wind. It's too idiot. As for the Masada who entered the training ground, the first thing he did was not to test his quirk, but to take off his shirt. After all, although his body is not afraid of heat because the quirk is magma, his clothes are really ordinary kindergarten uniforms, and they are not immune to flames. If you are not careful, you may be lit. Well, this is okay. Then first let the magma cover your fists. Following unconsciously muttering to herself, Masada also set her eyes on her right hand. Suddenly clenched his fist, and slowly, fire began to appear on his fist, and then slowly melted, and the entire surface of the fist was covered with a thin layer of lava. Raising his arm, feeling the scorching breath from his fist, Masada was overjoyed. The first step is complete. Next, test the power of your own fist first. Advertisement. Raising his right arm, the muscles of his waist drive his body to exert strength. Masada's eyes are full of enthusiasm, tightening the few muscles on his small arm, and punching to the ground of the training ground. Drink. Mind dog. Loudly roared out his own moves. The momentum is in place, but... Masada, who was injured by his own Rakido, sat down on the ground, blowing hard on his right hand, which had become normal, and saw that his right hand was already red. Obviously, this was not caused by his own quirk, but wounded by his own punch just now. It seems that even though my body can turn into magma, I will still be injured. This is really bad. I thought I could be elementalized like a Kainu. Now it seems that elementalization is such an invincible ability. It can't be realized. Thinking of this, Masada also recovered, and looked at the ground that she had just hit. On the ground made of steel, there was a dark mark, and a closer look could tell it was a fist mark, emitting a scent of sulfur. And around this fist mark, there was still some magma scattered, and the heat emitted made the air around it slightly deformed. The initial temperature of magma is very high. According to Masada's own knowledge, the temperature of magma is generally around 400 degrees Celsius to 1200 degrees Celsius. The corresponding temperature can be distinguished according to the color of the magma. Generally speaking, there is a faint red color. The temperature reaches the lowest 400, and the magma shows a dark red color. The temperature is 550 to 625. The subsequent colors are bright red, orange, golden yellow, and white, and the corresponding temperatures are 700 degrees Celsius, 900 degrees Celsius, 1090 degrees Celsius, and greater than 1150 degrees Celsius. Judging by the red light from Masada's fist just now, the temperature of Masada quirk should be as high as 400. Advertisement. Do not think that the temperature of 400 is very high. After all, in terms of temperature, the outer flame of the alcohol lamp has a high temperature of 600, and the alcohol blowtorch can reach a high temperature of 2500. Compared with these pure flames, the temperature of Masada magma is not enough. However, Masada's quirk has other advantages. After all, magma has entities, and magma with entities can only cause a single damage like flames. It can attach to the target for continuous damage. In addition, there are various toxic gases that accompany this magma. Although you may not feel anything after inhaling for a short time, over time, it can also cause deadly phenomena such as hypoxia and poisoning. These are not the most important ones. After just boxing, Masada discovered that he is using quirk in the right direction. It's actually very simple. Magma. Speaking of magma, you can immediately think of volcanoes, and when you mention volcanoes, you can naturally think of volcanic eruptions. The horror of Masada magma quirk does not lie in its hot temperature, nor does it lie in the magma flow that swallows everything. Its true power lies in the explosive power that destroys everything. The magma that is tightly wrapped in the Earth's crust on weekdays, due to the extremely high temperature and the huge pressure of the Earth's crust, once it erupts, that power can swallow everything. Accompanied by a huge roar, the extremely hot magma spews out from the ground like a ferocious fire dragon. Sometimes, due to the eruption of a volcano, a tall mountain can be erected on the flat ground in an instant, such as the one near the equator. This is how Mount Kilimanjaro and Mount Cotopaxi were formed. Feeling the sharp pain in the hands, looking at the slight depression of the steel plate on the ground, Jung is too deeply aware that this huge force cannot be possessed by a 4-year-old child. And the one who brings this power is your own quirk. Asterisk. Chapter 5 Test Quirk 2. Advertisement. Just as Masada was sitting on the ground thinking about his quirk, Yayorozu Momo also ran in, gasping for breath. Just 2, don't wait for me, please show me your quirk, while talking, blinking his big eyes like a curious baby. Hurry up, I have never seen magma. Seeing Yayorozu Momo looking at him with a cute face, I couldn't help blushing. It's too cute to be so cute. The soul of Lolicon in my heart is about to break out. Stopping the burning soul of Lolicon in his heart, Masada also hurriedly got up from the ground, hands on hips, turned her head away, triumphantly let out a smirk from her nostrils. Hey, my uncle's quirk is super powerful and terrible. Don't cry after you watch it. I don't know how to cry. By the way, Masada, you are a pervert. Why don't you wear clothes? Hearing this, he was still waiting for Yayorozu Momo's compliment to the words, and he twitched the corners of his mouth and couldn't help but slide 3 black lines on his forehead. Well, don't worry about such small things. My quirk is lava. I don't want my clothes to be burned. The same goes for that. Well, let me see your quirk quickly. I'm very curious. Advertisement. Jung Tu pursed his mouth, secretly urging his quirk. With the activation of quirk, Masada's hands gradually glowed red, covered with a layer of magma, and some dripped onto the floor, emitting wisps of smoke. 100 You stay away from me. My quirk is very dangerous. If you are not careful, you will hurt people. Masada turned her head and told Yayorozu Momo, only to find that she was a few steps away from her, and she couldn't help feeling depressed. Ha, this lady is not so stupid. The magma is so dangerous. I will definitely stay far away, but even if I feel so hot here, your quirk is really strong. So you will think about it in the future. Become a hero, s? Yayorozu Momo said triumphantly, and then asked curiously. Yes, after all, becoming a hero, s, must be handsome, and life will definitely be filled with all kinds of exciting things. I am still longing for such a life. And the income of hero, s, it is also very high. In general, I definitely want to be a hero, s. That's great, I want to be hero, s, too, so I won't be separated from Masada, he. Yayorozu Momo smiled. His fleshy little face was like a ripe apple. I don't know if it is shy or excited. Just about to reply with a smile, Masada suddenly felt a sense of powerlessness, like a sense of weakness that was forced to climb 5 floors after running for 1,000 meters under the hot summer sun. The magma on his hands also disappeared, turning back to a fair complexion. Why is so tired all of a sudden? It reminds me of the horror of the physical test in my last life, and the quirk can't be triggered anymore. Masada thought to herself, and couldn't help but turn around and ask Yayorozu Momo. 100. Will your quirk be unusable? Advertisement? Hearing Masada's words, Yayorozu Momo was taken aback. Is it impossible to use it? Yes, Masada, you also know that my quirk is a creation, and the fat I use to create items is my body fat. When my body fat reserves are insufficient, my quirk can be used. So I usually eat more sweets and high-calorie foods. Even so, I'm not afraid of getting fat. Yayorozu Momo was another silly smile. In this case, it seems that the use of quirk is also conditional. Bai's quirk needs to be activated by body fat, so does my quirk seem to be linked to physical strength? Yes, such a powerful quirk must have a strong body to support it. It seems that physical exercise is what I should pay more attention to. If I had a body as strong as All Might, coupled with the power of my magma, I would be invincible, right? Surely invincible, right? While making unrealistic fantasies in her heart, Masada chatted with Yayorozu Momo. After feeling that his strength was almost restored, he walked out of the training ground with Yayorozu Momo and returned to the mansion. Jangma, stay at my house for dinner tonight. I will let the butler take you home after dinner. Yes, but I want to call my parents. Jintai would not refuse to get close to Yaoyorozu Momo, and smiled and agreed. In the evening, Yaoyorozu Wan's parents also returned to the house to have dinner with Yaoyorozu Momo and Masada. During the period, Yaoyorozu Momo and Masada were molested by Bai's mother again. It seems that molesting children is an entertainment activity that every middle-aged woman is passionate about. However, uncles and aunts are very gentle and kind people. Masaru thought silently while bearing Yaoyorozu's mother's molesting words. After returning home, Masada was lying on the bed after taking a shower, looking at her hands. Obviously there was still a little pain in my hands during dinner, how come it doesn't hurt anymore? However, the test quirk used a lot of physical strength today. Masada didn't think much about it, and soon fell asleep in a daze. Chapter 6 Third Year Advertisement Time. The evening after school. Location: Yaoyorozu Momo's training ground. A vigorous figure was galloping in the field, and he saw his delicate eyebrows, clear and white face, sharp edges and corners, dark and deep eyes, and charming colors. At first glance, he looked like a gentle scholar, but when he looked down, he saw that his sturdy body surface was tangled with muscles, like the most ferocious cheetah, and his streamlined body was extremely explosive. This is our protagonist, Igarashi Masada. At this time, Jungtae has entered the 3rd grade, which is strange to say. From elementary school to junior high school, Jungtae and Yaoyorozu Momo are amazingly divided into the same class. Especially in the entrance exams to junior high school, Jungtae did not have as good grades as Yaoyorozu Momo, only midstream, but in the end he was placed in the same key class as Yaoyorozu Momo. And when Mrs. Tai asked Yaoyorozu Momo later, Yaoyorozu Momo also steadfastly changed the subject. Although Masada's grades are not good, his mind is not bad. After thinking about it, you can guess that it must be Yaoyorozu Momo who helped him enter the key class through the family relationship. After this incident, Masada's relationship with Bai became even closer. Intimacy is simply treating Yaoyorozu Momo's house as his second home. Even the parents with Yaoyorozu Momo are always smiling, looking at the wife with the same eyes as the son-in-law. Of course, Masada is no longer as shy as she was speechless at the beginning, but has gotten used to it. At this time, Yaoyorozu Wan, standing on the edge of the field, looked at the teenager who was constantly sweating on the training field with amused eyes. He seemed tireless. Although it can be seen that he has started to convulse, he is already full with his strong will. Hot blood, the boy is still holding on. Speaking of which, I will take the exam at Shangying High School after the 3rd grade. This exam is not hydrated at all. It's no wonder that Masada is training so hard. Yaoyorozu Momo muttered in his stomach. Advertisement keeping up with the pace of the times, the current school has also added courses for cultivating heroes, and launched classes for the purpose of cultivating heroes. This is the heroes subject. And Shangying High School is a higher education institution established for the purpose of cultivating heroes who fight criminals. It is one of the best schools in China, and its heroes subject is also the top. As early as half a year ago, Yaoyorozu Momo had an appointment with Masada to be admitted to Shangying High School together. Yaoyorozu Momo doesn't need to worry about it, because of the versatility of his quirk, he has already received the admission notice from Shangying. Although he is very clear about Masada's strength, one more training must also be more insurance. At this time, Masada also stopped her training, walked to Yaoyorozu Momo's side, took the towel that Yaoyorozu Momo handed over to wipe off the sweat. That's all for today's physical training. The time is almost up. Let me go and eat after I take a bath. Masada's face flushed a bit, probably because of cultivation. The blood on her body hasn't calmed down yet. It's not without reason to train yourself so crazy, although I want to add an extra guarantee for entering Shangying. The more important thing is, in elementary school, Masada discovered the second quirk hidden in her body. Since no such precedent was found, Masada named it cell strengthening. The quirk, called cell reinforcement, was realized by Masada after his body was relieved after the first extreme training. This quirk cannot be proactively activated. At present, Jung is too sure that it can passively produce effects after its own body undergoes high-intensity training or breaks through the limit. As the literal meaning says, the cells in Masada's body can be continuously strengthened after training. Advertisement. The benefits of such reinforcement are also comprehensive. Physical growth is only the most basic part. Masada's muscle cells become tougher and thicker, which brings about a surge in strength and speed. The strengthening of nerve cells brings about an increase in responsiveness and insight. Bones. The strengthening of the cells gave Masada a body like an iron strike. The current Masada is nearly 1.8 meters tall and has well-proportioned muscles. With your own physical strength, you can break ordinary walls with your bare hands. Although people in this world are generally of high physical quality, Masada can proudly call herself Little Superman. At present, Masada has only discovered these for this hidden second quirk. As for the quirk registered by myself, although there is no deliberate training, with the increase of age and the explosive growth of physical fitness, the magma quirk naturally strengthens. Most directly, after the test, the temperature of the magma has reached 600 degrees Celsius and turned dark red. Not only that, but the amount of magma that Masada can produce has also greatly increased. In the past, it could only be able to cover a layer of hands, but now he can turn his entire arm into a magma arm, which generates huge kinetic energy and destructive power. Of course, because the destructive power of his own quirk is too great, Masada does not often use magma quirk, but has also developed some tricks for his own quirk, so let's leave it alone. Just as Masada and Yayorozu Momo walked out of the training ground side by side with a smile, the story on the other side also quietly unfolded. Chapter 7 Green Valley Izuku Advertisement. My name is Midori Valley Izuku. Maybe my name looks ordinary, but in fact, even in this society, I am different from than others. Me, quirkless. It's another ordinary day, just like all third-year students. I am now on my way to school. Boom. An explosion interrupted me, who had just woke up and was a little confused. I looked up at the place where the loud noise occurred, and saw a huge monster appearing on the overpass in the middle of the road. This immediately made me excited, since there are criminals making chaos in the city. Then there must be Hero S fighting with it. By the way, I forgot to say that I am an avid Hero S fan. Although I am a quirkless, I am still working hard to become the best Hero S. For example, I can cherish every Hero S as much as I can, and I even have several notebooks dedicated to recording the actual and abilities of each Hero S. I squeezed into the crowd, and some people's slightly surprised words came around. What a great quirk, it can turn into a huge monster. He seems to be like this after being driven into desperation by Hero S, right? At this time, a brown figure fell into my eyes. Using your ability to rob others during peak hours at work, people like you are simply the incarnation of evil. It is the might of the jungle. The powerful Hero S, whose popularity has skyrocketed recently. The signature sign is Preemptive Strike Succubus Locks, which can hold villains tightly, but he is not good at dealing with villains of the flame system. Look, I know Hero S very well. The sumac is locked. As the jungle gods roared, the whole right hand turned into a tree and entangled towards villains. Appeared? Capture the enemy and win. Junlin Shenwei is indeed a powerful faction in the new generation. In this way, this monster can only be captured with his hands. However, my thoughts are different. Cannon in the canyon. A huge female struck from the side with a handsome kick to defeat the monster. Advertisement. The newly registered Hero S Mountain Girl. The quirk is huge. It is indeed a very popular and powerful quirk, but if you consider the damage to the urban area, there should be a lot of restrictions on its use. Is it possible to adjust the size freely? Sitting in the classroom, I was still thinking about the morning. Then, the class teacher's words interrupted my thoughts. Hey, you are already in the third year of junior high. He cleared his throat. It's time to start thinking about your future seriously. The teacher will post the volunteer questionnaire now, but my classmates. Think about it, everyone basically has to apply for the Hero S course, right? And following the teacher's words, the students in the classroom also showed their quirk and cheered. Hey, teacher, don't confuse me with everyone. The arrogant words are my childhood sweetheart, yes, Bakugo Katsuki, whom I affectionately call Xiaosheng. I won't go to the bottom of society with this gang of trash. I will definitely surpass that all might and become the strongest Hero S. Then I will leave my name on the list of high taxpayers. Speaking of which, I remember that Lubu's first choice seemed to be the same as me, and it was Xiangying, right? Before I could react to what Xiaosheng had said, I felt as if I was staring at me as a starving wolf while lying on the table. Then my table was overturned by Xiaosheng's explosion. Xiaosheng, big idiot. There was nothing to say about the next thing. I was ridiculed by Xiaosheng. Although we are childhood sweethearts, Xiaosheng has always enjoyed bullying me since I was a child. Still immersed in Xiaosheng's ridiculous words, I walked home desperately. Isn't I already determined to become a Hero S? Yes, no matter what others say, don't care about it. I have to hold my head high and move forward with all my heart. Just as I cheered myself up, a shadow enveloped me in an invisible place behind me. M-shaped disguise. Before I could hear the whisper behind me, I was covered in a mound of things like silt. Don't be afraid, I just occupy your body, don't move. You will only suffer for about 45 seconds, and you will be fine soon. No, great crisis. Although I pulled the silt hard, there was always more silt entangled. Can't breathe. The body too. Can't help it. Are you going to die? Am I going to die? Help. Who can help me? Just when I was desperate, a word like the sound of heaven came. Advertisement. It's all right, young boy. Why are you asking? Because I'm here. Smash. Accompanied by the huge roar was an extremely strong wind pressure, which instantly rescued me from the embrace of the silt monster. And when I was close to the wind pressure, I also fainted. Wake up, boy. Hearing the call in my ear, I opened my eyes laboriously. What catches the eye is a big guy with all muscles. He has blonde hair like bunny ears and a mouthful of white teeth that leaked out because of a smile. OL. Matt, am I dreaming? I was saved by my idol. Later, from All Might's mouth, I learned the whole story. After receiving All Might's signature with trembling hands, All Might strode away. Professional Hero S will always fight against time and villains. Let's see you, boy, on the LCD screen. Wait, I still have a lot to ask you. At a loss, I hugged All Might's legs in a hurried jump and then just flew with all might. After landing on the platform without risk, I summoned up my life's courage and closed my eyes and asked loudly, anyone without a quirk can become a hero, like All Might you? After waiting for a few seconds, no answer was heard. As if opening the chatterbox, I continued to say, because I don't have a quirk. Of course, it is also possible that people have been bullied not only because of this. So although I don't understand it very well, I still feel that saving others is one thing. Very handsome thing. When it comes to this, my look gradually shines and I lifted my head. Can I be a hero, who saves others with a fearless smile like you, too? I want an answer from All Might, but in front of me is a thin, skeleton-like person. Huh? Are you a fake? You are a lie? How come the whole person has shrunk? Under All Might's explanation, I understood why he became like this, but the answer All Might gave me is also very cruel. A symbol of peace, you can never give in like evil. The reason why I am big is because I deceive myself against the pressure and interfere of being a hero, professional hero, always puts life and death out of control, so like, you can become a hero even without quirk. Such words. I really can't say it. With the departure of All Might, and my silence, the rooftop was calm again. However, neither of us found that the Coke bottle that All Might used to hold the sludge monster has quietly disappeared. Asterisk. Chapter 8 Meet for the first time advertisement Midori Valley Izuku, who was hit again, walked lifelessly on the road. Don't cry, don't you know it too, isn't it because you know that you have been struggling until now? Although I continued to cheer myself up, tears still flowed down. Boom. Boom. Suddenly, there was a continuous explosion from the commercial street across the road. Midoriya Izuku's old problem is gone as soon as he commits it. Isn't this the sludge monster? It found its target again. Did All Might let it escape? In case it accidentally fell, isn't it all because of me? Condemning himself in his heart, a sense of guilt for the attacked person kept pouring out. However, when he saw the face struggling constantly under the attack of the mud monster, Midori Valley Izuku covered his mouth with both hands in horror. Shaoshung. As if he couldn't control his body, Midori Valley Izuku rushed towards the silt monster in an instant. However, a vigorous figure rushed out of the crowd faster than him, holding him in place. Hey, how can I encounter this kind of plot in a bloody comic? Our protagonist Igarashi said to himself, and then looked at Midori Valley Izuku afterwards. Looking at you, it is your friend who is trapped by the disgusting silt over there. Don't worry, I will get him out. Ignoring Midoriya Izuku's look like an angel, Masada squeezed his fist and made a rattling sound. Take off your clothes. Advertisement. What's the matter with this young man? How can he undress in front of so many people? Does he have any unknown hobbies? The whispers from the crowd made Yayorozu Momo, who had just rushed over, couldn't help covering his forehead. Jingtai, this guy is really true. I was shopping with me. Has the blood factor in my genes started to riot again? And is this guy planning to use quirk? Why did he even take off his clothes? After taking off his clothes, Masada made a sprinting movement. The strong muscles on her body continued to surging, and her right leg suddenly exerted force. The whole figure flew out like a cannonball, and instantly came to the mud monster's side. You disgusting sludge, just get down for me. Ordinary straight punch. The whole arm swelled in an instant, and the blue veins burst into the clenched fist. There was no fancy movement, and Masada threw a punch like this. Although there is no exaggerated style of boxing, the power of this punch cannot be underestimated. After all, Masada's physical fitness has reached the level of Superman, and the rapid punching brings huge kinetic energy. Bang! The sludge monster, who was still concentrating on Bakugo Katsuki, only felt that something flashed past his eyes, and there was a huge hole in his body. Who would dare to disturb me? Although a hole was punched in his body, the silt monster didn't care. After all, such an attack could not be hit continuously. And he didn't receive any fatal damage. It only took some time to repair his body. And watching the holes in the mud monster slowly healed, Masada's mouth did wear a smile. It seems that ordinary blows can't cause substantial damage to the sludge, but they do have some effect, in this case. Continuous normal straight punches. Advertisement. At this time, the surrounding crowd also noticed that there was an extra figure beside the mud monster. It was the naked boy who was mistaken for an exhibitionist. Does this boy seem to be fighting a silt monster? Although his punch caused some trouble to the sludge monster can recover immediately, which is essentially useless. She shouted out her moves, her hands into fists, and swiped forward quickly. The swing of both arms even appeared after images due to the speed. Ola 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 ola, shouted the unknown words in her mouth. It was obviously the overblooded wife who opened a hole in the body of the sludge monster, and even the silt on the body of the sludge monster. They were all scattered on the ground, and Bakugo Katsuki, who was wrapped in it, also seized the opportunity, and escaped with a sudden explosion with both hands. Hey, you guy, who allowed you to come here? I didn't ask you for help, I typed it out by myself. Bakugo Katsuki, who had just escaped, gave full play to his wicked quirk, and moved towards Masada, yelled. And the Masada who was yelled inexplicably was also stunned. How could Lousy try his best to save the individual and be murdered in the end? Although you don't understand it, let's get out of here, kid. The silt monster on the opposite side hasn't been resolved yet, Masada said in a comforting tone, trying to make his expression gentle. After all, that silt monster seems to have grown a bit bigger. After all, this guy is a friend of the boy just now, so he should be quite young, right? Masada thought to himself. Izuku 166, Masada 180, the kids are fine. On the side, Bakugo, who realized that he was being called as a child, only felt the blood surge, and a tic-tac-toe burst on his head. However, Bakugo soon discovered that a huge black shadow appeared on his head. Looking back, the silt monsters had gathered again. And I don't know what method was used to become as tall as the surrounding buildings, covering the sky and the sun. Whispering sound. Although I was very annoyed, I knew that it was more important to escape now. Bakugo Katsuki did not refute, and immediately ran away. Asterisk. Chapter 9 Masada vs. Silt Monster Advertisement. I have seen a lot of questions about the temperature of magma in the book review area. Here is an explanation. The magma emerging from Masada's body is theoretically lava. Because it has been exposed to the outside world, the temperature will definitely be a little lower than the temperature of the magma in the Earth's crust. Then the book says Celsius, what everyone usually hears is Fahrenheit. Well, don't worry about temperature anymore. After all, the power of magma is not only in temperature. Finally, thank you very much for your support and rewards. This is my first time writing a book. This book was also written out of love after reading my English, and it is only after everyone's approval can I continue to write it. The author is going to be in his senior year, and he doesn't really want to take the postgraduate entrance examination, so he should have the time and energy to finish the book. Just sauce. Damn it, you kid, unexpectedly, let my such cute material escape, you guy. The silt monster shook his body like crazy, and with his movements, the sewers of the commercial street also gushed out. A large amount of foul-smelling mud continued to adhere to the body of the silt monster, which is also the reason why his figure has become so huge. I'm going to kill you, kid. After speaking, the sludge monster's head, which can be called for the first time, leaked a hideous expression, and the right hand that had gathered a large amount of silt was wrapped in the whistling wind, accompanied by a fishy smell, waved towards Masada. And seeing the silt monster completed an amazing transformation, and the surrounding heroes, such as Death Red Fist and Shenwei Jungle, seemed to be unable to do anything about him. The crowds gathered near the commercial street to watch the excitement, started to panic. Run. Hero's attacks are useless to that guy. I can only wait for the hero's with the quirk to come over. If you don't run, you will lose your life. At this time, Bakugo, who had just ran to the side of the crowd, turned his head, looking at the place of the silt monster, suddenly widened his eyes. Advertisement. Hey. You guys don't look like heroes either, are you scared? Damn it, get moving. However, Masada didn't pay attention to the arrogant words coming from behind, because a large pile of mud in front of him had already locked him. With this size, it seems that he cannot be taken down physically. Although it may be a little troublesome after using it, he may be invited to drink tea by the uncle of the police, but I can't help but consider this situation. More, after muttering, Masada's face also showed a fanatical expression. Let's try my new trick with you. As soon as the voice fell, Masada was slightly backwards, placed on the right arm beside him, like an open valve. A large amount of magma slammed out. The magma did not drip to the ground, but was wrapped tightly on Masada's arm. As the magma continued to gather, a huge lava fist soon formed. Spitfire. With a loud roar, Masada exerted all his strength, twisting his body and swaying the huge lava fist in his right hand. Although it is not as good as Marine Marshal Sakazuki's original moves, the surrounding temperature also rises sharply with Masada's move, and the silt on the surrounding walls makes a sizzling sound, and soon it's in it. The water is completely evaporated. Boom. The huge lava fist slammed into the mud arm. There is no such thing as an evenly matched scene as imagined. The mud monster just felt that an unparalleled force came, and instantly shattered his arm. No, it was not only shattered, but his arm was completely evaporated by the high temperature of the lava. Now, I can't feel the presence of the arm at all. Advertisement. The lava fist that easily smashed the villain's attack did not stop, still attacking the sludge monster intact. Being hit by this fist will definitely die. I can't be immune to such an attack. As the lava fist struck, the mud monster even felt that only red was left in front of him, and the air was distorted by the high temperature. Under such a mortal situation, the silt monster had no choice but to block his torso in front of him, turning it into a continuously rotating silt shield. Boom. With a loud noise, the lava fist hit the silt shield. As the silt monster desperately urged its own quirk, the speed of the lava fist also slowed down and stopped in front of the silt monster. And the silt monster didn't have the physical strength to support the shield anymore, and its body shape turned into the appearance when it first appeared, no longer huge. Panting loudly, with a grateful expression on his face. If it weren't for breaking the limit at the moment of crisis, I'm going to explain here today. Are all the little ghosts so prickly now? Thought the silt monster who had escaped from the dead. However, Masada was not annoyed and frustrated because the fire breathing was blocked. She still had a frantic smile on her face, and her mouth was grinning high. Burst. With a sudden stare, the mud monster saw the lava fist that seemed to have been extinguished before, and a fiery red light appeared. Then, it burst with a boom, and countless lava bombs were just like that. It burst out, and flew towards him quickly. Ah! This lava bomb not only has huge kinetic energy, but what's more, the magma attached to it also remains on the body of the silt monster. Under the high temperature, the silt monster makes a painful cry, and then it ceases to branch and melt. It's a mass of soil that is about to be burned dry. Ha 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 ha. This uncle's trick is really strong enough. Your muddy pile lies under the uncle's magma. Stepped on the mud monster with one foot, Masada looked at 45 with her hands on hips and her head. In the sky, there was an unscrupulous smile on his face, and a frantic smile echoed in the commercial street. Asterisk. Chapter 10. After the event advertisement, Masada's laughter didn't last long, because he felt a swishy breath behind him. Jingtai, you guy. Yayorozu Momo, who walked behind the jealousy at some time, had his entire face hidden in the shadows, and there was no expression. As soon as Shanda felt that something was wrong, he turned his head and was greeted by a Yayorozu Momo exclusive kill ear-picking attack. Yayorozu Momo, who was 173 centimeters tall, easily pulled Shanda's ear. It hurts, damn it. Why can't you always avoid your attacks? And you are too proficient. A loving attack can't be avoided, and you are so courageous. You even left the clothes I just bought for you on the ground. Now Yayorozu Momo is no longer the easy blush that he used to be. Lil girl, she can say such words without any scruples. How can I say this? After all, you also understand my quirk. It was also in an emergency at the time, and I had to take action in all kinds of force majeure situations. After listening to Yayorozu Momo, if it is, Jung Tai also has his eyes blackened, touching his head in a vain attempt to get through. Words that did not continue to complain came. Masada only felt the heat in her chest, and found that Yayorozu Momo's whole body was thrown into her arms, her head was buried in her chest, and her hands were also wrapped around her waist. Fighting monsters is such a dangerous thing to be done by professional heroes. Aren't you still a student? It's not your turn to fight against such a powerful villains. Pay more attention to yourself. Is it safe? 100 whispered from his chest, as if there was still a stream of heat flowing through. Masada's heart warmed. Bai is really concerned about me. Well, let's give her a report later. Thinking in his heart, his arms also put his arms around Yayorozu Momo. Don't worry, I'm very strong, and we are all going to become heroes. You know, first-class heroes. Most of them have left a lot of strange things in their student days. I'm also moving towards this goal. Of course I will definitely pay more attention to safety in the future, and it won't worry you. Listening to Shanda's words like a confession, Yayorozu Momo, who has been with Shota for so many years, is also a bit shy. Advertisement. Furthermore, it seems that your place is bigger again. Feeling the fullness of the chest, Jung couldn't help revealing a portrait of Brother Pig, and said with a wretched smile. Visible to the naked eye, a huge tic-tac-toe appeared on Yayorozu Momo's forehead, lifted his head from Masada's arms, squinted and looked at Masada with a smile. Bang! A big bag with white smoke appeared on Jungma's head. It hurts. So why didn't you avoid it? I told you that you can't hide a fist full of love. Yayorozu Momo said with disdain, blowing the white smoke on his fist. I'm really sorry to worry about you just now. The villains has been resolved, the injured people were rushed to the hospital by ambulances, and the surrounding people gradually dispersed. However, several people at the center of the incident were all left by the police uncle who rushed to take notes. Green Valley Izuku, who rushed to the silt monster, was severely reprimanded. Instead, it was Bakugo Katsuki. Because of his strong mind and powerful quirk, he was praised by the heroes. And even heroes had already asked he threw an olive branch. The Masada was taken to the police station. After all, in full view, the Masada who had not obtained the permit used the quirk, and the Masada still had this mental preparation. And Yayorozu Momo also came with him out of worry. My name is Tsukachi Naomasa, and I'm a police officer. Sitting in the small room, Masada greeted a man. Are you the student who defeated the sludge monster? The police officer in the mound with an ordinary face said solemnly. Advertisement, yes. Is there any punishment for me? Masada couldn't help becoming nervous when he heard the police officer's serious words. However, police officer Tsukachi did not answer his words, but said to himself. At a time when superpowers were in the ascendant, the police, who valued rules and regulations and disciplined police, decided not to use quirk for force enforcement. And heroes was created to make up for this shortcoming of the police. Force can be exercised under personal judgment, and power can easily take human lives. This phenomenon, which was originally condemned by the entire society, can be recognized by the public entirely because the past heroes consciously abide by the morality and the law. Without obtaining formal qualifications, using quirk to hurt people without instructions from heroes, even if the victim is a criminal, is an extremely serious violation. So I must give you a severe punishment. At this point, the police officer in the mound's expression became more serious. Hey, even though I know that punishment should be inevitable, I still feel a little unwilling to step forward to defeat the criminals and save people from danger. I just don't know if my uncle and auntie can help me ease the punishment, I thought to myself. Ahem. The above is the conclusion I made as a policeman. The sanctions mentioned earlier are only the way to deal with the incident after the truth of the incident is announced. At this point, the police officer in the mound is no longer before serious expression with a gentle smile on his face. Don't worry, young man, there is already a professional hero, to help you guarantee it. He uses his reputation as a guarantee to let you use the quirk without authorization. It becomes the use of the quirk under the instruction of the professional hero, so you won't be punished. As the police officer said, he stretched out his thumb, as if light flashed from the corner of his grinning mouth. I helped you guarantee it, but it's a 0.1 feed on active duty, All Might, Chapter 11 Inherit Quirk. Advertisement still immersed in the words of the police officer in the mound, Masada walked out of the police station with a thoughtful expression on his face. Sure enough, there are still many good people in the world. This time I don't need to be punished or squat in jail, but I still need to use the quirk as a second less before getting the quirk license. But what the hell is All Might? Although he likes a muscular tough guy like him, he doesn't seem to have seen me. Why did he suddenly vouch for me? Or use something as precious as his own reputation? What is most puzzled by Masada, after all, he has not revealed his quirk before, and the intersection with All Might is only from the TV show. Am I the protagonist in the legend? Even the hero, of number 1 has come to escort me? Masada thought happily, and then her thoughts were interrupted by the mother who rushed over. Jingda-chan, did you hurt anything? Why did you go to fight with others? What should parents do if something happens? Mrs. Igarashi didn't have the iconic Mimi smile on her face, full of it, panicked look. Jong Tai, this time dad is not good for you. Fighting with villains is hero, business, and it is not your turn to do it. After I get home, I will reflect on it. Igarashi unsmilingly pushed Masano. He pushed the glasses on the bridge of his nose and said sternly. Daddy and Mom, how did you know about this? The police didn't seem to inform you, could it be? The Jengma said, looking at Yayorozu Momo who was trying to hide himself behind his parents. 100. You betrayed me. As if he had been greatly stimulated, Masada flushed and pointed to Yayorozu Momo with an embarrassed smile on his face. When my parents knew that they were using quirk to fight with people, they would definitely be humbled by their mother for a week when they returned home. However, it seems that it feels good too. Not to mention the happy Igarashi family at the police station. Something he didn't expect happened here in Midori Valley Izuku. Oh, All Might, why are you here? Midori Valley Izuku, who was walking on the path, was stopped by a tall figure. Juvenile, I came here to correct my speech. I was there when your friend was in danger, but unfortunately I couldn't stop it because of a physical problem. I saw a person who had no power to restrain me, because of my own. My friend rushed to danger. Although I was stopped by another powerful teenager, your determination and your unique characteristics attracted me. After speaking, All Might spouted a big mouthful of blood. As if leaking, it changed back to the form of a skeleton. After hearing All Might's words, Lugu was very puzzled. I'm just a quirk-free trash, and I was also scared to death at the time. How could there be anything different? That's right, it's you. You, the coward without quirk, that attracted me. Before Midori Valley Izuku finished speaking, All Might interrupted him loudly. Advertisement. Most of the top heroes will leave a lot of strange things since their school days. Many of them are related to this kind of thing. That is, the body will act before the brain thinks. You should, too. You can also become a hero. After All Might finished speaking, the world seemed to fall into silence. Only the occasional sound of wind and the constant whimpers of Midoriya Izuku, who fell on his knees, were left behind. What? Green Valley. He must be out of play. You who have no quirk at all, why are you standing on the same stage with me? The laughter of people around him kept echoing in his mind, and Midori Valley Izuku couldn't cry. In the end, it was the hero I admired that said to me. If it is you, you are qualified to inherit my power. Lugu, who hadn't stopped his tears, was a little unclear. Puff. Another blood spurted out. I'm talking about my quirk. It is often written in weekly magazines as Swayered Power, and enhanced, and in interviews, I also used paragraphs to prevaricate the past. As a symbol of peace, you must be Auburn in Hero S. However, my quirk is actually like a sacred fire, it is a kind of power passed down by sparks. Advertisement. After hearing an explosive news, Lugu's head seemed to be struck by a bell, and he kept muttering words that only he could understand. Ignoring Izuku, who fell into fanaticism, All Might continued, this kind of quirk that can transfer quirk to others is the quirk I inherited, and its name is Open Black Lens Bracket 1 for all Close Black Lens Bracket. The crystallization of strength. One person cultivates strength, and then gives it to the next person, continuous cultivation and continuous inheritance, so that from generation to generation, the crystallization of strength is condensed from the cry for help in the brave heart. Said here, All Might became serious. But, why me? I defeated the sludge guy at the scene today. Isn't he so powerful? Isn't he more qualified to inherit your power? Midori Valley Izuku still didn't recover, but said only innocently. Are you talking about Magma Boy? He is different from you. Although I can see his heart yearning for justice, the enthusiasm and wanton revealed in his eyes make me a little worried. All Might said solemnly. Moreover, his quirk is very powerful, and the Magma boy himself uses it very well. I don't need my quirk to add to the cake. To sum up, I think this power can be handed over to you. Of course, you still have the power to decide whether you want to accept it. All Might actually said so much to me. What reason do I have to refuse? His eyes became firmer, and Lu Jiyu stood up from the ground and wiped away his tears. I do. Chapter 12 Shangying High School. Advertisement. Time flies, and his so happy third-year life is quickly coming to an end. Today is the day for him to take the Hero's entrance exam for Shangying High School. That's awesome. 100. Shangying High School is really magnificent, it's different from ordinary high schools. Standing at the gate of the school, Masada looked at the majestic school building whose gate was so high, facing her exaggeratedly. Said Yaoyorozu Momo. Of course, the Hero's subject of Shangying is also the most popular in the country. All Might, Endeavor, Best Genist and other popular Hero's graduated from Shangying. So there are rumors in the society. To be a great Hero's graduation from Shangying is a prerequisite. Yaoyorozu Momo stretched out an index finger and spoke plausibly, his face also full of pride. After all, even Shangying himself is exempted from the entrance examination, so a little pride is of course okay. At this time, Masada's eyes suddenly appeared green. Huh, that person is so familiar. This familiar hair color. Isn't it the kid in the mud monster incident a year ago? Looking at the figure in front of him, he was thinking too much. After all, this hair color is not common. Go away, smelly for a long time. A white hair with unhealthy young people all over his body appeared. Don't stand in front of me, or you will be killed. Ah, Xiaosheng. Morning. Good morning, let us all cheer for each other. The green boy instantly turned into a little girlfriend and greeted him with a smile. However, the white-haired young man ignored his intentions and walked straight forward with his hands in his pockets. Ah, come to think of it, it's the two of them, this white Mao is Green Mao's friend, right? The person kidnapped by that muck at that time. Their relationship is really as good as ever. Masada watched this scene. My heart is full of malicious thoughts. Yo, boy, since it was an acquaintance who had squatted in jail, together they were all left by the police at the time, Masada walked forward carelessly and patted the young green-haired man on the shoulder. Do you still recognize me? Suddenly being photographed by the person behind him, Lu Jiyu was also startled, and as soon as he turned his head, he saw a smiling face of Yang Guang. Ah, you were at that time. Brother Magma, you were taken away by the police before you could thank you. Are you okay afterwards? Are you not injured? And, are you also a freshman here? Is it? I always thought you were older than me. Recognizing Masada, Lugu said excitedly. The stunned lady who was asked a series of questions by Green Valley put her finger against her forehead. Wait, you have so many questions for me to explain one by one. First of all, I am the Magma brother in your mouth, but I also have a name and a surname. My name is Igarashi Masada, and the one next to me is Yaoyorozu Momo. Then I was not injured or caught by the police. In the end, I was also a freshman here, and now I am here to take the exam. What is your name? What? I don't know yet. It was also a bit embarrassing to find that Lugu, who had not introduced herself, said quickly. My name is Lugu Izuku, the person I admire most is All Might, and my favorite food is pork chop rice. Stop, why even your favorite food came out? Are you talking about stubbornness? Interrupted Lugu's endless chatter, and said helplessly. It's almost time, let's go to the exam venue together. Hey, hold there. Advertisement. Before Lugu agreed, there was a fierce voice in front of him. You're the Magma B********** D who defeated the sludge monster at the beginning. Remember me, my name is Bakugo Katsuki. I didn't ask you to help you be ********* D. The white hair who walked in front turned toward the madam with a ferocious face. Growled, then walked forward without looking back. That's your little boyfriend, Lugu. After listening to the arrogant speech, Jungtu turned his head and joked at Lugu with a narrow expression. No, Xiaosheng is my friend, we grew up together since childhood. And I'm a boy, how can I have a boyfriend? Lugu explained in a panic. Haha, it turned out to be a childhood sweetheart, your relationship is really good. I said no. Okay, let's go to the exam venue as soon as you two, time is also very tight. Yaoyorozu Momo, who has been acting as an invisible man from the beginning, said, just two, I will not be with you anymore. I will also go to my own venue. Okay, then see you in the evening. Masada, Izuku and Bakugo sat together in the venue. Is that girl your friend just now, classmate Igarashi? Isn't she coming to take the exam? Izuku asked the Zhengma next to him. Ah, you say Bai, she is my childhood sweetheart, and Bai's words have been exempted from the exam. Now, maybe the school has to test her quirk. So she and we will not be in the same examination room. Masada explained. That's amazing. Exempted students, this is a high-achieving student who is not a few in the whole year. You can definitely become a great hero from now on. After Izuku's words, there seemed to be small stars twinkling in Izuku's eyes. Boom. At this moment, the flash on the summit stage lit up, and the screen behind it also showed Xiangying's school badge. Dear candidates, welcome to my live, everybody say hey. A teacher dressed in hip-hop shouted loudly in the middle of the light. Although shocked by the sudden opening ceremony, Masada, who had a rich experience in listening to Lita's speeches in her previous life, still yelled very cooperatively. Advertisement. Hey. The whole auditorium was quiet, only the roar of Masada was still echoing. What's the matter? Are you treating me as a fool? Do high school students now have such a quirk? Rao-yi Masada's face was also embarrassed at this time. After all, he is the only one responding enthusiastically to so many people, and now Masada still feels countless eyes looking towards him. It seems that the enthusiasm of the students is also very high. So everyone, now I will explain the summary of the exam. The teacher on the stage said excitedly. Areu ready? Yeah, he's hilarious by himself. The well-behaved Masada complained expressionlessly under the stage. As mentioned in the exam points, you will have to take part in a 10-minute simulated block exercise afterwards. You can bring anything to the designated exercise venue. There are 3 types of imaginary enemies in the exercise field. There are corresponding scores according to their respective strategy difficulty. Using their respective quirk to defeat imaginary enemies and increase your score is your goal. Of course, attacking others that violates the spirit of hero is prohibited. Suddenly someone raised his hand. I have a question, can I raise it? Of course classmates. The hip-hop teacher on the stage exaggeratedly said. Jung Tai looked at the young man with glasses who looked like a good student template, and saw him seriously said, there are 4 imaginary enemies on the exam points. If the record is wrong, it would be a great gaffe for Xiangying. I'm just sitting here in search of the professional guidance provided by the model hero In addition, there are classmates with curly hair over there. At this point, the eye-eyed boy turned to point to Izuku who had been muttering to himself since the teacher came out, I have been whispering since just now to make others unable to concentrate. If you came here with the excitement and eye-opening mood, please leave Xiangying immediately. Asterisk. Chapter 13 Admission Test. Advertisement. Hearing the relentless accusation from the boy with glasses, Jung frowned too much. Although I knew that Green Valley did not do the right thing, it was a bit too much to say it in front of so many people. Hole. Which green onion are you? 4-eyed boy. Just sit down honestly after you have asked the question. However, before Masada wanted to say a few words for Green Valley, Bakugo sat on the other side of Green Valley. Can't help but scream. Sure enough, their feelings are as good as ever, Jung thought with a smile. Okuk classmate 7111, thank you for this nice reminder. The hip-hop teacher on the stage interrupted the spectacle boy who was about to refute, the 4th imaginary enemy is worth 0 points. To put it bluntly, it is a shit stick. Every venue there will always be such a villains. Although it is not impossible to defeat, but even if it is defeated, it is meaningless. I suggest that the listeners still cleverly avoid its subtlety. The hip-hop teacher led the topic to the right path and avoided quarrels. It still looks like there are 2 brushes. And the young man with glasses who heard the teacher's answer also bowed earnestly, thank you for your answer. It's rude. Opened his hands, the hip-hop teacher continued. That's all I want to say, and finally I will send you the school motto of our school. Hero Napoleon Bonaparte once said something like this. Only those who can overcome the misfortune in life are the real hero Plus ultra. I wish you all a wonderful journey of suffering. Wow, it's Xiangying. Is the whole block used as an examination room? It's too much. Jung who stood in front of his examination room exaggeratedly exclaimed. Also, isn't this our cute little Bakugo? Standing in front of Masada's eyes was Bakugo Katsuki with gritted teeth. D who is young. You will become a stepping stone for Lao Su, watching me become the first one in this exam. Looking at the strangely smiling Masada, it is clear that he will not. Bakugo, who was thinking about something good, resisted not giving him an explosion and said fiercely. The little milk dog is angry, ha ha ha, what a shameless little Bakugo. Pretending not to see Bakugo's cannibal gaze, he continued to laugh too much. Advertisement. D. Okay, let's start. Time waits for no one. Get up and run. Without the mind to continue to T Bakugo, when he heard the order, Masada rushed into the examination room, and as soon as he entered the block, he saw a dumb robot dangling there. Then, let me take the first kill. Normal straight punch. The Masada, who rushed to the robot first, used his right foot to push the ground, driving the waist to move forward quickly, and at the same time, the right shoulder was sent forward and punched out in a straight line. Boom. Visible to the naked eye, a depression appeared on the robot's body, and then it was knocked out by a huge impact. A few electric sparks flashed in the air, and there was no movement after it fell to the ground. Okay, get the score. The examinees who came later were surprised to see Masada hitting the robot with his bare hands. This power is too strong, quirk is about physical enhancement and the like. Don't you recognize it? This guy is the protagonist in the mud incident a year ago. I heard that he defeated many villains that Hero S were helpless with the permission of the professional Hero S. How come? Are we going to test with such a monster? Shangying High School deserves to be a prestigious school with a competition rate of over 300. Ooh, what a powerful fist. Kirishima Eijiro recognizes you. The rustling voice kept coming, and the flying robot was too provocatively smiling at Bakugo who had just arrived. Little Bakugo, too. Damn it, you Magma B asterisk 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 D. Bakugo Katsuki, who clenched his fists, sent these words from his teeth, his face full of unwillingness. After all, he knows that Masada's quirk is by no means physical enhancement or the like, but magma. Then I'll take one step, little Bakugo. After saying that, Masada's legs suddenly exerted force and rushed into the block. Advertisement. In this way, I can almost pass the level, it seems that it is almost 80 points. Wiping the non-existent sweat from his head, he was standing on top of a tall building and muttered to himself. The reason why I stand here is because I want to see how my future classmates will deal with these robots out of curiosity. Although these machines are not enough to see in front of Masada, they can easily deal with them without using magma. For students, it is still challenging. Let me see. Is the little Bakugo's quirk exploding? It really fits his character, and it's also very powerful. This guy can spray tape on his arm. Is he cosplaying Spider-Man? It's really convenient quirk. With this, I'm never afraid to be late again, right? And this guy, he can even be tough with bare hands and robots. It's not bad. As expected, it looks refreshing. In the school monitoring room at this time, the teachers were also watching the candidates' performance. The quality of the candidates this year is very good. Especially the little brother who shined in the silt incident a year ago. Did he even pass the exam without using the quirk? There is 18 ban Hero S, said Midnight. During the limited time and wide examination room, you will show your true strength, intelligence, mobility, judgment, and pure combat power. These basic abilities for maintaining world peace will be presented in the form of scores. In this regard, this year is indeed a bumper harvest. Principal Mr. Principal, who looks like a white mouse, said aloud. However, it is too early to make a conclusion. After all, the real test has just begun. After speaking, a red button was pressed. In each examination room, a huge shadow also appeared in front of the candidates. This is too huge. A giant robot that resembles a skyscraper was dispatched. Hey, this is definitely a foul, right? It's horrible, but it's mortal. Jung squatted on the top of the building shouted exaggeratedly. It's Shangying. Even the entrance exam is so willing to pay for it. After all, such a big robot doesn't need to think about it to know that it is expensive. Then let me try how many caddies you have. Slowly stood up, feeling the powerful power brewing in his body, Masada's voice also brought a bit of arrogance. Don't let me down. Asterisk. Chapter 14 starting line. Advertisement. This is not a joke. You must run away. You must find a way to score while you are escaping. The above is the voice of classmate Izuku who is being chased by the giant robot at this time. Since the silt incident, Midori Valley Izuku has been under All Might's one-year devil training, and the result is a muscle that can already be seen in the contours, and a gradually firm heart. The cowardly Green Valley Izuku has stayed in the past, and he stands in this examination room with a brand new face. Not only that, just this morning, Midori Valley Izuku truly inherited All Might's quirk, ONEFORALL, working towards the next symbol of peace. But none of these seem to solve the immediate problems. Due to entering the examination room one step later than others, and a bit of cowardice remaining in his character, when Midori Valley Izuku was about to start scoring, he found that the surrounding robots had all been knocked down by everyone. And just as he panicked about this, huge robots struck. Everything I got from All Might will be wasted. Lugu in despair, tears appeared in his eyes. It hurts. A cry for help came from behind. Looking back, a girl with a pretty face was trapped in the rubble by the rubble, and not far behind her were the huge feet of the robot. The pupils suddenly shrank, and Lugu's body moved uncontrollably, just like a year ago. As if firming up his heart, Lu Jiyu took a long breath, his legs bent slightly, green electric lights all over his body, violently exerted force, the hard concrete floor was also crushed by the strong recoil, green Jiyu flew into the air, facing the face of the giant robot. Tighten the A*L sphincter and shout in my heart. Taking a deep breath, Lu Jiyu raised his right hand. Smash! Huge wind pressure was generated as Lugu waved his right hand, and hit the robot's shell severely. Accompanied by the sound of fragmentation, the robot's head made continuous explosions. Afterwards, the whole fell into the shattered neighborhood and was completely scrapped. Advertisement. Wow! Green Valley, who was in the air, couldn't help but exclaimed as he looked at the damage he had caused. It's about to fall. The scenery around him made the fact that he was still in the air sounded by the constantly flying scenery around him. Damn it, am I going to be the first successor to ONEFORALL to fall to death? The powerless feeling from his legs and arms made Lugu gradually desperate. Looking at the ground closer and closer, Lugu felt in his heart, thinking pessimistically. Pop! Just at this moment, a petite palm hit Lugu's face fiercely. Lugu, who hadn't understood what was happening, felt that his body stopped abruptly in the air, and then fell to the ground fiercely. After that, the severe pain from his body forced Lugu into a coma. The camera returns to our protagonist Igarashi Masada. Standing on the edge of the rooftop, Masada stretched greatly, her dark broken hair swayed slightly in the wind, and the sun shone through it, casting a silhouette on Masada's handsome face. Now this situation should be played by the protagonist, right? Seeing the students chased by the robot, he thought too boldly. He threw off his coat, exposing large muscles and a black vest. The bulging muscles all showed their power. Even with the vest, the outline of the abdominal muscles could be clearly seen. With a body far beyond ordinary people, Masada quickly shuttled on the roof of the block, and soon came to a position close to the huge robot. It's almost at this distance. As he muttered, Masada stretched out his right arm. Drink. Accompanied by a low growl, a huge amount of magma gushed out of his right arm. However, unlike Big Spitfire, the magma did not become a giant lava fist, but was forced back into Masada's arm under an invisible force. Although it doesn't have the shocking visual effects of Da Spitfire, just looking at Masada's slightly sweaty forehead and the red dazzling right arm at this time, you know that this trick cannot be underestimated. It seems that suppressing to this temperature is my limit. Looking at his bright red right arm, Masada thought. But the high temperature is just an appetizer for this trick. The real good show is yet to come. After finishing speaking, with the force of his legs, he was approaching the robot too fast like a goshawk soaring in the sky. Advertisement. Mingu. Accompanied by the grandmother's roar and whirring wind, his right arm hit the robot's shell severely. The super high temperature and the amazing kinetic energy penetrated this layer of armor without any hindrance, and plunged into the interior of the robot like a bamboo. Drink. There was another low growl, and an amazing scene happened. The magma that had been pressed back to the right arm before, was now gushing frantically like a flood with a valve unloaded, and rushed into the body of the robot unscrupulously. Masada's right arm was like a volcano that had been accumulated for a long time and suddenly erupted, venting its anger wantonly. The scorching magma quickly melted the internal parts and circuits. The alloy has a low melting point, at a super insulated temperature. The true power of this trick was finally revealed. As the interior was constantly eroded, the robot was constantly convulsing as if it had epilepsy. And Masada also jumped off the robot in another leap. Boom. Boom. Two booms came at the same time, and under the light of the fire, the huge robot exploded suddenly. What is even more terrifying is that even the fragments produced by the explosion are slowly melting under the magma that resembles bone gangrene. The Masada also smashed to the ground with a loud noise, forming a big pit on the concrete floor. The candidates who had escaped before also stopped and watched this spectacular scene. One punch exploded the tall building-like robot, falling from a height of tens of meters and unharmed, shocking the students who had just come into contact with the superhuman society. Okay, so strong. Isn't his quirk physical enhancement? The classmates who thought that Masada's quirk was a kind of physical enhancement began to doubt life. Oh, this is too hot and cool. I am completely burnt. Although I don't know what your name is, but I, Hiroshima Eijiro, will definitely let you recognize me. Hey, even Bakugo Katsuki, who already knew Jungtai quirk, made an unwilling voice while angry that Jungtai had robbed him of the limelight. This kind of power is not something that the current self can contend. At this time, Masada got up from the big pit, feeling the admiration of the classmates not far away, and laughed boldly while she was dark and cool. Ha 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 ha. Don't worry, my uncle will protect you. Chapter 15 First Day of School. Advertisement. Xiangying's meeting room that evening. This year's students are really good. There are 2 other students who defeated the giant robot. Because of the actual combat test, a group of faculty members from Xiangying stayed at the school to work overtime. In the front of the meeting room, a huge screen is hung, which displays the scores of each student. Yes, it can beat a huge robot head-on, let alone a freshman. Many people can't do it even a year after enrolling in school. Principal Mao stroked his chin and said. One is Midori Valley Izuku, because an injured girl stepped forward and killed the robot with an all-might-like quirk. The other is Igarashi Masada. The quirk of Magma is terrifying even in the eyes of the professional heroes present here. Not only did it knock down the robot with one punch, it also melted a part of the robot with the help of the high temperature, which made people feel chilly. This candidate named Izuku Green Valley, although quirk has extremely powerful destructive power, it seems to have a great risk. Seeing Green Valley's rag-like body when falling in the air, a faculty member slowly opened up. But as far as his spirit and behavior are in line with the professional heroes, he is also a talent. Besides, the quirk similar to All Might is really powerful if it can reduce the side effects. Are you right, All Might? Hearing someone calling him, All Might, who was already a teacher of Xiangying, froze for a moment, and hurriedly replied, Ah. Yes, I also admire the spirit of this young man. After finishing talking, he touched himself. The blonde hair seems to be hiding something. Great work, Green Valley Boy. How could there be a hero-s subject in this world that rejects students who have sacrificed themselves to save others? Just keep working hard like this. Thinking excitedly, All Might leaked out a mouthful of white teeth. Shang Ying is your hero-s academy. Then this examinee, isn't it called Igarashi Masada? His registered quirk is Magma. It's really a natural disaster quirk. And this amazing ability and keen response, in my opinion, he already has the strength not weaker than the general profession hero-s. Another teacher looked at the image of Masada shuttled through the block and harvested the robot, and said with shock, this is really a high school student just about to enter the high school. Student. Not only that, but his physical fitness is beyond the strength of ordinary people. Falling from such a high place has nothing to do. This guy's body is no less than those whose quirk is physical strengthening. Yes, and he does have the spirit of hero-s. Obviously he is in a safe place, and he didn't stand by. Although it seems a bit arrogant, it is understandable that he is young and frivolous. Midnight also spoke. Discussions and compliments about Masada kept coming from the conference room, and All Might frowned slightly. A powerful body. Is it the same as physical strengthening? I hope it's my illusion. Magma Boy. Even All Might, who had pledged his reputation for Masada, was a little worried at this time. Looking at the image of Masada landing again, All Might's brow gradually stretched out. Advertisement. How could a person with such behavior and such firm eyes be an accomplice of that man? From now on, I will teach the Magma Boy a lot. On the huge screen, the results ranked first. Igarashi Masada, kill points, 82. Rescue points, 70. This place is too big. Where is 1A? Today is the day when Shangying High School officially opens, and Masada and Yaoyorozu Momo came to Shangying early in the morning. Then, the Masada who volunteered to lead the way got lost. Let me say 100, Shangying's biggest characteristic is bigness. No matter what, the Masada, who was completely dizzy, said complainingly. So you, an idiot with muscles in your head, are not suitable for leading the way. Yaoyorozu Momo grabbed his wife's jacket, and said in full force, follow me. Soon, the two came to the door of Hero-s Section 1A. That's why, Shangying's characteristic is big. Seeing how many doors with his own height are in front of him, she was too complacent. Pushing the door open, there are already a dozen people in the class sitting in their seats. The seats are all arranged according to the student number. They didn't stay at the door too much. They found their seats. Masada and Yaoyorozu Momo were sitting there. In his own place. Oh, it's you. The Magma brother who punched the robot in the examination room at that time. The Masada who had just seated heard an excited voice from her side. Turning his head and looking around, he saw a hot-blooded and cheerful red-haired boy waving at him with his eyes wide open. Ah, it's me. My name is Igarashi Masada, your classmate. Holding Masada, who first had a relationship with others in an unfamiliar environment, answered politely. My name is Kirishima Eijiro. I am a hardcore and passionate man. The same goes for you, classmate Igarashi. Let us fight together in the rest of life. Oh. It turned out to be a fellow Kirishima classmate. That's right, men should believe in their muscles. I will show you more in the days to come. Yaoyorozu Momo, who was sitting in the distance, looked at the two people who were inexplicably excited. His face was covered with black lines. I don't know if it was her own illusion, she seemed to see the red sun and the sea appearing behind these two people. Advertisement. At this time, another person came in at the door. It was Bakugo Katsuki with an expression of beating. Cut. Are you in the same class as this Magma B*****************? D. At first glance, I saw the wife who was talking violently with Kirishima Eijiro. Bakugo sat down in his seat and raised his foot on the desk. Hey, isn't this little Bakugo? I met again. Bakugo was in front of Masada, who also saw this acquaintance, and patted Bakugo on the shoulder excitedly. Take your hand away, Magma B*********************. D. Do you want to fight? At this time, a boy with glasses came to Bakugo Katsuki. Ha, another acquaintance. Isn't this the little brother Glasses who spoke at the meeting? The acquaintances appeared one by one, and she grinned and laughed too much. This classmate, please don't put your feet on the desk. In addition, my name is not the Glasses brother, my name is Iida Ida. Pushing the glasses on the bridge of the nose, Iida classmate said solemnly. Huh, Bakugo curled his lips in disdain. Which junior high school did you come from? Are you a dragon character? I graduated from a private smart middle school. As he introduced, Ida's hand was still waving in the air. Smart. Isn't that the damn elite group? It seems to be worth killing. Kill. Are you really the one who inspired to be a hero-s? It's too cruel. Iida was startled when he heard Bakugo's words. Is this the first confrontation between a model good student and a bad young man? Zhengma, who was watching this interesting scene in front of her with relish, suddenly found a sneaky green head at the door. Even Bakugo's childhood sweetheart is here. This class is really fun. Chapter 16. The time to pretend has begun. Advertisement. The green figure at the door wanted to sneak into the class, but was still spotted by the sharp-eyed Ida. I graduated from a private smart middle school. I found Midori Valley Izuku's Iida, and immediately let go of Bakugo and rushed to Midori Valley. I heard. I'm Lugu Izuku, please advise Fantien. Lugu responded awkwardly when he was discovered. Student Green Valley, you got an insight into the actual combat test system during the exam, right? I didn't notice it at all. I really misunderstood you. Although I am not reconciled, you are indeed better at it. Here Ida showed a reflective expression. Wow, can you tell me what little Izuku did? You actually made Brother Glasses completely change your opinion of him. The young lady who was in the seat also asked curiously. My name is Ida, not the Glasses brother. Midori Valley hit the huge robot with one punch during the exam. And he discovered the system of test scores. This is what I admire the most. Iida waved his hands and said seriously to Masada. Cut. Waste a long time. Bakugo looked at his childhood sweetheart with a fierce expression on hearing Ida's words. Suddenly, a weak voice came from the door. If you want to make a good friend game, let's change the place. I saw a caterpillar-like creature lying in a yellow sleeping bag at the teacher's door. In addition, I kindly remind you of Ida. This one also killed the huge robot with one punch. Everyone who heard these words calmed down in an instant, and then they all turned their eyes on Masada who was sitting leisurely in her position. Okay, finally calm down. I am your head teacher Aizawa Shota, please advise. The unknown creature in the sleeping bag stood up, turning out to be a decadent uncle. Time is limited, so don't hesitate. Put on your sportswear and gather on the playground. Aizawa Shota took out Xiangying's sportswear from under the podium and said to everyone. Quirk's bottom line test. After all 20 members of Class A came to the playground, Aizawa Shota said the content of the first class. Yes, Kota Koji is gone. How about the opening ceremony? How about the school visit? A girl with a bob head hurriedly asked, her round face and bright big eyes made her look very cute. Hey, it seems that Xiangying is not only big, but also has a lot of beautiful girls, Masada thought silently in her heart. It seems that the girls in my class are very cute, so Yaoyorozu Momo won't talk about it. With a proper goddess level, this Uraraka Ochako classmate is also very attractive. In addition, there are cool earlobe girls, membrane girls, and pink girls who are also very cute. What seems to be overlooked? Masada wondered. Advertisement. If you want to become an app, you don't have time to participate in those leisurely activities. While talking, Aizawa Shota looked at the students behind him with bloodshot eyes, and then took out his mobile phone. I was in junior high school. Is there something to do? Disable Quirk's fitness test. Our country still uses the Unified Record Designation Standards, which is not reasonable at all. Well, it is the malfeasance of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology. It's Igarashi who got the first place in the exam, right? The Masada who heard teacher Decadent call her name also said loudly, yes. Then Igarashi, how many meters were softball when you were in middle school? 305 meters. 305 meters, not bad results. Nani? Aizawa Shota, who had a listless expression just now, suddenly opened his eyes. This expression on his face looked very funny. Teacher, are you changing your face in Sichuan opera? Masada murmured silently in his heart. It's nothing more than that Aizawa Shota was so shocked. Although people in this world are generally of high physical quality, it is sensational to achieve this level entirely by physical strength. Cough cough, then try using your quirk this time. Passing a ball to Masada, Aizawa Shota coughed to cover up his gaffe, and continued. Do your best. As a result, the balls Masada turned upside down in his hand, feeling the metal texture of the ball. Do your best, then I'm welcome. The right hand holding the ball glowed with red light, feeling the explosive power in the palm of his hand, and grinned too much. Volcano throw. As I said before, the real horror of Masada quirk lies in the powerful explosive power generated by the magma at the moment of eruption. In a real volcanic eruption, the kinetic energy produced in an instant can bring hundreds of thousands of tons of ejected material into the clouds. Although Masada only simulated this process, the power cannot be compared with it, but after fighting with the Sild monsters and robots, Masada, you can already use this proficiently to enhance your own strength. With the roar of the wife, the softball also flew into the sky and disappeared. After a long time, the rangefinder in Aizawa Shota's hand made a sound. 2,248 meters. Advertisement. Cut. Damn Magma B asterisk 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 D. Is there anything wrong with this data? Isn't it amazing? It feels like it's fun. You can use quirk to your heart's content. It's a hero's branch. Look. At the scene of the Masada test, the students behind him also started to discuss it. 2,248 meters. Not bad. Wiping the sweat on his head slightly, just as he thought to himself. Using quirk to increase your strength requires a lot of physical strength. It seems very interesting, isn't it? Hearing these words, Aizawa Shota couldn't help but drop his head and said gloomily, do you plan to treat it with this kind of mentality, and spend these 3 years in Xiangying? Well, I will treat the student with the lowest score in the test as a hopeless waste, so let's get rid of it. How to deal with students, but the teacher's freedom. Lifting the hair on his forehead, Aizawa Shota seemed to change his personality. Welcome to Shangying High School, Hero S section. It's done, it's terrible. Will you be expelled on the first day of school? Only our classmate Izuku Midori Valley can think so. Midoriya Izuku, who has not yet adapted to ONEFORALL, uses quirk only once, which will make him disabled and lose his qualification for the subsequent test. Not using quirk is obviously not an opponent of other students who can give full play to their strengths. How can I think that the one who was finally fired was myself? Even Shangying. It's too unreasonable, this is the first day of school. The classmates present were clamoring, hoping that the teacher would take back his decision. Natural disasters, serious accidents, reckless villains. Japan is now full of unreasonable things. And it is us Hero S who is responsible for dealing with these crises. Turned back to decadence. The model's Aizawa Shota scratched her messy hair to explain. If you want to sit in McDonald's laughing and joking after school, you are in the wrong place. Because this Shangying High School will do its best to make you suffer for the next 3 years. Plus ultra. Do your best to overcome these sufferings. It is difficult for Mr. Aizawa to speak these passionate words. After throwing the softball, Masada was silent in the corner, as if some strange attribute had awakened. How much does McDonald's give you? I give you twice as much from KFC. Chapter 17 Masada's Small Class Session. Advertisement. If the test is of this difficulty, it should be easy to pass. Masada thought casually, and looked at Yaoyorozu Momo, and found that she was also confident. Hundreds of words are definitely not a problem, after all, it is a very comprehensive quirk. Masada muttered to himself with his eyes continuously drifting away. Why does Lugu look panicked? If he can knock that robot over with a punch, he should be very strong. What is there to worry about with such a test? Thinking in his heart, Masada walked over to Shoot. Patted him on the shoulder. Mr. Midori, do you look like you are worried about not passing the test? Midori Izuku turned around and saw a curious grandma. Student Igarashi, just call me Izuku. Indeed, I am very worried about this test. Izuku said pessimistically, as if he had already seen the screen of his expulsion. You can blow that robot with one punch. This test is mainly about strength and agility. Doesn't it match your quirk? Although I don't know what Izuku's quirk is, but think of it as a quirk that greatly enhances the body. No, it's not. Although my quirk can emit tremendous power, I can't fully control it, and even hurt myself as soon as I use it. After knocking down the robot during the entrance exam, my arms and legs are useless. It's not as strong as you thought. Realizing that Masada might have misunderstood something, Izuku Midoriya quickly explained. Well, can't I control my quirk? It's really novel. It seems like I have nothing to help you. After all, my quirk can be controlled freely as soon as I wake up, as if it belongs to my own body. Part of it. After listening to Mrs. Takashi, Midori Valley was also a little disappointed, but still squeezed a smile. It's okay, Igarashi classmate, I will think of a way again. But I can give you a little bit of a way to improve your own strength. It's my experience from someone who came here. At this point, I was so proud. I am still very confident about the control of my body, Rikido. Rikidos. Do you control it? Midoriya murmured, please teach me. Igarashi classmate. After all, the most important thing is the concentration of power. Masada said proudly, even if it is an ordinary straight punch, it uses the power of the whole body. Legs, waist, shoulders, the arm, it is a standard straight punch to concentrate the muscle strength in these areas. However, it is difficult to train the concentration of strength. It requires continuous exercise to form muscle memory to retract freely. Speaking of this, Masada became distressed again, but you seem to have no time to practice. You can only try it yourself during the test. But the trick is almost like this. When doing an action, you should use your body reasonably. Only when the strength is concentrated can the greatest effect be achieved. Advertisement. After hearing the words of Masada, Midori Valley Izuku touched his chin and fell into deep thought. Concentration of power. Concentration. I understand. Thank you Igarashi classmate. With radiance in his eyes, Midoriya Izuku cheered in surprise and bowed deeply to Masatai. The Masada was also a little embarrassed. Well, thank you or whatever. After all, I can only teach you verbally. The actual usage is still to be exercised by myself. The first item. 50 meters run. Iida Ida, 3 seconds 04. The glasses classmate with the engine on his calf is like a fish in water, super fast. Asui Suyu, 5 seconds 58. The film method girl's name is really appropriate, and Masada complains. Well, this cute girl. Is it Uraraka Ochako? What is she touching on her own body? Is it a unique preparatory action? Masada, who has not yet turned to the test, observes the performance of her classmates. Hey, the laser. It's really cool. Although the sprayed place is not very beautiful, the laser is really cool. Next group, Masada Igarashi, Bakugo Katsuki. The decadent Aizawa sensei said slowly. A Magma B***************************** D. Bakugo, who was ranked top in the past year, looked arrogantly at Masada. I don't want to crush you this time. Ha 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 ha, little Bakugo is really energetic. Since you said so, then I can't hold back. The jealous woman with the restlessness factor flowing in her blood was also aroused when she heard Bakugo's straightforward and provocative words. Ambition. Then, get ready, run, blasting speed, Uzumaki. However, before Bakugo could finish chanting, a gust of wind hung around him. Advertisement. Igarashi Shota, 1 second 46 inches. Aizawa Sensei, who had seen Shota throw a softball field, said the number calmly. Bakugo Katsuki, 4 seconds 13. Damn it. Magma B asterisk 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 D. What kind of trick did you use? Bakugo, who lost to the wife again, gritted his teeth and said. Little Bakugo, you have lost again. I don't have any tricks, I just used my own quirk. The Masada, who was getting more and more fun of teasing Bakugo, explained with a smile. Seeing this scene, the surrounding students also gathered around. What the hell is your quirk? Is there magma on your arm? Kirishima Eijiro, who is outspoken and has a good deal with him, asked curiously. Ah, is my quirk. After clearing his throat, Masada explained to the classmates, after all, this is not a secret. My quirk can produce magma on all parts of the body, not just arms, head, feet, any part. Moreover, the impact of magma explosion is great, so I can also use it. The quirk mimics the scene of a volcano erupting, so that my strength is temporarily enhanced by the eruption. Because my quirk can easily burn off my clothes, I usually only use it on my arms. But just now I just increased the strength of my legs. Fortunately, I controlled Rikido and didn't burn my pants. Speaking of this, the Masada also had some lingering fears. It would be a shame to lose pants in front of so many people. Masada can use quirk in this way, completely because the powerful body brought by her passive quirk, cell strengthening, can withstand the pressure of magma. Whenever the magma quirk is used under too high a load, the quirk of cell strengthening will operate again to slowly increase physical fitness. It can be said that the two are indispensable and complement each other. But Masada would not be so stupid to say that she has two quirks, and this secret should be buried in her heart forever. You are really strong, you guys. What a man of iron. Kirishima Eijiro, who was already on fire, looked at her with excitement, and she was understandable, but the cute round-faced girl Uraraka Ochako seemed to look admiringly. Is it true that she, who is quiet on the outside, is actually full of fiery heart? Masada expressed a dazed look. Chapter 18. Breakthrough here. Advertisement. The test continues. Grip strength, long jump, repeated horizontal jumps, long distance running, sit-ups. Everything is proceeding smoothly. It's also very good to watch your classmates with curiosity while passing the test easily. After all, this is the first time I have seen so many diverse quirks. It is worth mentioning that in the grip strength test, the gripper was broken by Masada, which shocked the students once again. For example, what is on the head of the short man who is less than 1 meter tall? Can you take it off? Large grapes. But why do you always think he looks like a teddy dog? Masada thought maliciously in her heart. But Izuku seems a bit dangerous. It seems that all his projects are mediocre. If this goes on, he will suffer. It would be a pity if he was expelled here for such a hard work. After all, in this class, Izuku Lugu is a relatively familiar person to Masada, and Masada can see that Lugu's physical fitness has increased dramatically compared to that of him in the Silt incident, and he knows how much it has to pay. Masada, who worked hard, was naturally very optimistic about him. In addition, Izuku's personality is also very good, and can bring himself fun with Bakugo, you Magma B asterisk 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 D. Masada still does not want him to be dropped out. Soon, the last item came, throwing softball. The Masada, who had already tested this project, naturally stood by and watched the students test it. Hey, Uraraka Ochako, a girl with a round face, held the softball and threw it up slightly. Shoo! Without the impression of gravity, the softball flew out of the sky and became a small spot in everyone's eyes. Infinity, said Aizawa Sensei, who stared at a pair of dead fish eyes weakly. Oh, gravityless. What a great quirk, girl. Can you fly? The curiosity Masada jumped up again. It's okay, it's not a very strong quirk, I still don't have the ability to use myself, but a short flight is okay. Igarashi classmate, you are also very strong, I have always longed for the kind the quirk is good for close combat. Seeing the Zhengma approaching, Ochako stroked her hair a little uncomfortably. Next, Midori Valley Izuku. It's me. Thinking silently, Izuku walked to the testing ground. Imagine the feeling that the egg won't explode in the microwave. Concentrate the power of ONEFORALL at one point. Izuku breathed himself up, and Izuku slowly made a pitching posture. The palm of his right hand started to sweat because of tension, and he was not completely sure of what he was going to do next. But his eyes did have the kind of determination to abandon everything. Advertisement. Boom. The softball landed. 46 meters. How come? I obviously used quirk, Izuku murmured while looking at his right hand. I got rid of your quirk, Aizawa Shota said coldly, with her hair flying in the air and the bandage on her neck flying beside her. From the actual test, you shouldn't be able to control your quirk yet. Staring with bloodshot eyes, Aizawa Shota continued, the entrance exam is really lacking in rationality, and a guy like you can also enter the school. If you can't move again this time, do you plan to wait for others to rescue you? Aizawa Shota feels that Midori Valley Izuku, a person who can't move with just a punch and kick, cannot become a hero. Instead of pursuing unrealistic dreams here, it is better to break his dreams early. In the past, there was a hero who was so passionate and annoying that he created a legend that single-handedly rescued more than 1,000 people from a catastrophic disaster. Although it was also brutal, after you rescued one person, you will be reduced to one puppet. Izuku Midoriya, you can't become hero. The cold words came out of Aizawa Shota's mouth, as if he had issued a declaration of dismissal of Izuku Midori. Teacher, please give him a chance. At this moment, a serious word came. Oh, Igarashi classmate, are you interceding for him? Aizawa Shota's eyes couldn't help but wonder. No, I just think that everyone has the opportunity and power to break through. After a pause, he looked at Aizawa Shota's eyes directly, and said word by word. And I think that now is the time for Green Valley students to complete their breakthrough. Maybe it was infected by Lugu's firm eyes, or simply didn't want such a hard-working guy to be eliminated here. Masada said these words. Aizawa Shota returned to a decadent appearance after hearing the words of Mr. Shota. Midori Izuku, your quirk has been restored, and you still have another chance. Complete the test as soon as possible. Midoriya Izuku, who was throwing the ball again, looked at Aizawa Shota with serious eyes. Aizawa-sensei, I will not be immobile this time. As if making a declaration, Midoriya moved. Advertisement. Bring all the power together in one point. The softball flew out with Midori Valley Izuku's hope. Aizawa Shota, who saw this scene, and All Might, who was hiding next to the school building, both showed surprised expressions. When the softball was about to let go, Midori Valley Izuku used his index finger to launch ONEFORALL. The immense power from between the fingers acted on the softball, and the softball rushed into the air like an arrow from the string. Green Valley Izuku, 705.3 meters. Holding his right fist tightly, and resisting the sharp pain from his fingers, Midori Valley Izuku's eyes were full of tears, but he turned to Aizawa Shota with a smile. Teacher, I can still move. Yes, you kid, it's not very good. I controlled my strength for the first time. The Jung who stepped forward patted Midori Izuku's shoulder too hard, and smiled happily. Thank you just now, Igarashi. Without your guidance and encouragement, I would not be able to accomplish what I just did. Although the shoulder was suddenly attacked, Midoriya Izuku happily thanked Masada. This kid. Not far away, Aizawa Shota couldn't help showing an expression of appreciation after seeing the realization of Green Valley. Using the lowest degree of injury to maximize your strength, aren't you super handsome like this? A certain blonde bunny head peeking behind the teaching building was completely infected at this time, gritted his teeth. He roared happily. What the hell is going on? Fei Ju, UB ************ D. Explain clearly to me. At this moment, there was a roar not far away. Bakugo Katsuki used his quirk to continuously generate impetus and rushed towards Green Valley quickly. Chapter 19 End of test. Advertisement. However, Bakugo is indeed Midori Valley at this time, but he is standing with Shota. Jungtai doesn't want Bakugo to come over for an indiscriminate attack. Papa, relying on his keen reaction and insight, Bakugo rushed forward as ridiculous as a child in front of Jungtai, grasping his wrist with precision, and then Jungtai's left leg moved slightly. With a swipe, Bakugo lost his balance and fell to the ground with his face down. Bakugo, who fell to the ground, didn't slow down, but Masada's movements followed. One hand clasps Bakugo's two wrists, and one hand presses his head. In order to prevent Bakugo from using his quirk, he deliberately puts his palms toward his back. As long as Bakugo is not stupid, he will not do it. Let your own body explode. With his knees stuck on his back, Bakugo couldn't get out despite Bakugo's constant resistance. The students around only felt that there was a flower in front of him. Bakugo, who was still aggressive just now, was lying on the ground and unable to move. Okay, that's amazing. That fierce Bakugo was so easily subdued. Uraraka Ochako's small star was full of eyes. Is this a grappling technique? Igarashi's movements are so fast. Shoot! The white bandage quickly tied Zhengma's body with the sound of breaking through the air. What is this? Masada looked at the cloth strap tied to his body with a look of confusion, tried twisting his body several times, but found that he couldn't get rid of it at all. It's so hard, this cloth. Looking back, I saw Aizawa Shota's eyes were red and her hair was flying again. This cloth is the one that has been wrapped around his neck. What? Is this Mr. Aizawa's scarf? Can it fly so far? Jung asked in surprise. At this time, a capture weapon made of carbon fiber and steel wire made of special alloy. Really? Did it conflict at the beginning? I really don't want to use quirk. I have dry eyes. Although his weapon can also withstand high temperatures, but I really don't want it to walk around in the magma. Ahahaha. Teacher Shangzi, you are too worried. How can I use quirk? Just now, I really planned to melt this cloth and smiled embarrassingly. Get rid of the quirk. Midori Valley Izuku listened to Aizawa Shota's words, and then remembered which hero he was. Which one can wipe out the opponent's quirk by watching with your eyes, eliminate hero eraser head. Advertisement. Eliminate other people's quirks. This ability is too foul, teacher. Masatai was also shocked when he heard Green Valley's words. After all, more than 90% of hero and criminals in this world use quirks to fight. When quirk is after the elimination, they instantly lost most of their combat effectiveness, and even fell into a bewildered situation. But it seems that my body hasn't changed much, that is to say, the enhancement brought by cell strengthening is permanent. Even if you eliminate hero you can't use it. Masada thought silently. Okay, then hurry up and announce the results now. The total score after the total of the results is the total score. It is too time consuming to verbally explain one by one, so I put it together. Pulling Masada away from Bakugo, said Teacher Z released him, took out a small projector from his pocket, and said to everyone. The last person in the overall score will be fired. Aizawa Shota pressed the projector's button indifferently, speaking inhumane words. And Izuku, who was still a little happy just now, calmed down instantly when he heard the cold words. After all, except for softball, his other achievements are very ordinary, and he is also in the middle and lower reaches of the class. From this point of view, the chance of being fired is still very high. Thinking about it, Midori Valley Izuku seems to have tears bursting out of his eyes again. I'm sorry for the cultivation of All Might, and I'm going to let it down soon. By the way, the expulsion was a lie to you. Quote exclamation mark question mark quote. The words in the ear made Lugu Izuku, who was about to use the ancestral quirk, to be stunned, and most of the classmates fell into a sluggishness like Lugu. A mischievous expression appeared on his face. Mr. Aizawa grinned openly. This is to maximize your strength and use it, reasonable hypocrisy. As that's so. The good student template glasses brother Ida, the innocent and shy Midori Valley Izuku, and the cute Uraraka Ochako yelled instantly. It's a lie to think about it. You can see through it with a little brain. What are you doing? The wise Yaoyorozu Momo said helplessly when he looked at the three people around him. However, but I found a more mindless person. I saw Masada kneeling on the ground in an oar's posture, as if a white soul appeared above his body, and he was still muttering, I was deceived by such a decadent uncle. This one looks very strict. Does the teacher lie too? Damn it. So that's it. The test is over. There are teaching plans and other materials in the classroom. Remember to check it out for yourself. By the way, Midori Valley, go to the health room and ask your aunt to help you treat Aizawa Shota, who has already turned and is about to leave. After a pause, from tomorrow, there will be more severe trials waiting in line for you. The result of the test is self-evident. With super physical fitness, Masada ranked first without any suspense, and Yaoyorozu Momo came in second. Advertisement. Hey, bye, you cheated. Why don't you usually see that you are so strong? With a deliberately exaggerated expression on his face, he shouted too loudly. Stupid. You can use the quirk test. What cheats can't be cheated? Moreover, although you can't compare with your muscular man in terms of physical fitness, I have never admitted that you are better than you in the development and conception of quirk. Bad. Yaoyorozu Momo, who is a perfect eldest lady in front of outsiders, always carries a little arrogance in front of Masada, and is always happy to quarrel with Masada. The relationship between the two of you is really good. Midoriya Izuku on the side looked at the two of them. It's not like me and Xiaosheng. Haha, Izuku, Bakugo cares about you very much. He is just caring about you in another way. Anyway, you are also childhood sweethearts. Hearing Midori Izuku's slightly envious tone, the gentleman turned towards he gave a thumbs up. Student Igarashi, if I have time in the future, can I ask you about the techniques of close combat? Your movements are really neat and handsome. The round-faced girl Uraraka Ochako also came over. She was in this test. Ranked 10th is also a pretty good result. Ah, and this is Yaoyorozu Wan who was exempted from the entrance exam. As expected, he is a top student. That's amazing. Hearing the compliment to himself, Yaoyorozu Momo also smiled reservedly. Everywhere, it's because of quirk. Classmate Uraraka is also very good, it's really a standard eldest lady's answer. Ha, no problem, I'm not bragging about this, but I'm very good at it. Ask me if you don't understand. As if I found a soulmate, I was so excited. Speaking of which, Bai is also considered a master for these, her knowledge is super wide. We will regularly train in the evening. Really? Can I join together? Ochako flushed and opened his round eyes. Ah, of course you can. The training location is at my home. If you want to come, let's go together. Yaoyorozu Momo with a gentle smile always felt that he had made a wrong decision. Chapter 20 Heavenly Descent. Advertisement. School time. 2. Wait for me. Uraraka Ochako's voice came from behind Masada and Yaoyorozu Momo who were about to get up and go home. Oh, it's Infinity Girl. You, Ochako has been identified as a girl who believes in strength and fighting, and she is so happy beckoning her as her own. It's Uraraka Ochako. Do you have any training tonight? Ochako in a student uniform pretended to be annoyed. Ah, Not tonight. After all, it's the first day of school. Training sessions are usually on weekends. When the time comes, you will be called to your Uraraka classmates. Yaoyorozu Momo explained. Ah, okay. Then let's leave the contact information first. After speaking, Ochako took out his mobile phone, tilted his head and said playfully. By the way, do Igarashi and Yaoyorozuman live nearby? Ah, so cute. Hebai is completely two types. There was no expression on Masada who was thinking so in her heart. Yes, my home is not far away from the school. It's a bit farther away, but someone from her family came to pick her up. Although I don't know why Ochako suddenly asked this, Masada answered patiently. After swapping the phones, Ochako bounced towards the school gate. It's really cute. Seeing Ochako's slender thighs wrapped in black silk, Masada thought again with a straight face. And are current high school students so expectant? Secretly glanced at the chest of Yaoyorozu Momo next to him, and silently compared it with Ochako who had just jumped in his heart. He was too deep in thought. I'm talking about Jungtae. Are you thinking of strange things in your mind? Sensitive Yaoyorozu Momo put his hands on his chest and squinted at Jungtae. How could it be possible? I was just thinking about what delicious dishes I have when I go home today. That's right, that's it. I am still complacent about the excuse I found out just now, and I don't realize that I am imminent. Pinch. He grabbed Masada's ear and pulled it to his mouth. Student Masada, don't you think classmate Ochako is so cute that you keep looking at her? The gloomy words came from Yaoyorozu Momo. Speak out. Wait, these words are not in line with your gentle, lovely and generous setting. And how do you know I'm watching classmate Uraraka? More attacks on ears. The hitting Masada said with a stumbling. Didn't anyone tell you what you are thinking in your mind as a muscular idiot? Can you see it from your face? Yaoyorozu Wan, a student with an IQ of 180, had a smile that made Masada feel chilly. Said so. Advertisement. Ah, what a misfortune today. At the school gate and Yaoyorozu Momo went home separately. Jungta didn't go home immediately, but wandered in the street. After all, Yaoyorozu Momo's home is in a manor outside the city, and Masada's home is in a community not far from the school. Is it so easy to guess what I think? Obviously I think I'm covering it up very well. But speaking of classmate Uraraka, she is really cute, and her round face is unexpectedly suitable for her. Masada who came to his door unknowingly knocked on the door. Welcome back. Huh, why are you? This sentence should be right for me. Why are you in my house, classmate Uraraka? The Lord who was thinking about it just now suddenly appeared in his home, and she wanted to wonder if God was teasing. By myself. Ah, Jungtae-chan is back, let's get in the door. Mom made your favorite tempura today. Mrs. Igarashi poked her head out of the kitchen and said with a smile. It's not about eating or not eating grilled meat right now. Mom, don't you explain Uraraka's problem first. The Masada who was complaining about it changed into slippers, and went in with Ochako and sat at the dining table waiting for the meal. Ah, I didn't expect that the Igarashi home that mom and dad said is your home, Masada classmate. Ochako said with a cute face with his hands folded on his chest. A bite. Are you an angel? Why is there a holy light behind? The boy who was so cute by Ochako's expression was taken aback for a moment, and then hurriedly replied. It is indeed the Igarashi family, but your parents said. Do your family know my parents? That's right, Shoutai-chan. Ochako's parents were classmates in high school, even in the past so many years, they still often contact each other. Mrs. Igarashi walked out of the kitchen carrying the dishes, explaining with a smile on her face. This time it was also Cha-Cha's mother who called me. Mom realized that you two are in the same school. Cha-Cha mother asked me to take care of her, so Cha-Cha has lived in our house for the past 3 years. Oh Masatajiong. Do you live in our house? Jung asked in surprise. Well, does Igarashi dislike me? In fact, I can go out and rent a house. Ochako said in a slightly aggrieved tone, his little mouth deflated. No, why would we refuse such a cute girl like Ochako to live in our house? I was just a little surprised when I heard the news. After all, we just met this morning. Looking at the girl's frown, Masada, who was full of guilt in his heart, quickly explained. After hearing Masada's words, Ochako's expression turned from cloudy to sunny immediately, his curved eyebrows stretched out, his round eyes narrowed into a line, and he began to smile. It seems that your relationship is very good, then you have to get along well in the future. Cha-Cha, your room is on the left at the end of the corridor. It has been cleaned and you can move in directly, but after all, that room is a guest room. So you want if you take a shower, you have to come to the outside bathroom to wash. Of course, you can also use the wife's room. Mrs. Igarashi's hobby of molesting little girls has not changed at all. Advertisement. As Mrs. Igarashi continued to return to the kitchen to cook, and Jungta's father had not yet returned home from get-off work, only Ochako and Jungta were left on the table. It's too quiet. My embarrassing cancer is about to be committed. At this time, do you still want boys to provoke the topic? After a while, looking at Ochako, who kept his head down and doing nothing to tugging at the ends of his hair, he stroked his thoughts and tentatively said, well, I'll call you T. Okay, Then I will call you Masada, Masada classmate. The Ochako who was called was taken aback for a moment, and then replied cutely. Why does Cha-Cha want to be a hero S? It may be a bit embarrassing to say it. I want to become hero S because I can make a lot of money by becoming hero S and let my parents live a relaxed life. Why Masada wants to become hero S? What about S? But the reason for such a strong Shang Masada must be very ambitious. Feeling ashamed of his purpose to be hero S, Ochako stroked the hair hanging down to his cheeks, blinked his eyes and opened his mouth. Said, how can I be embarrassed? What a good reason. Cha-Cha. Reasons like filial piety to your parents are much greater than fighting criminals. Hearing Ochako's reason, I was so excited that my voice became louder and louder. Speaking of which, part of the reason why I want to be hero S is to make money. There is no money in this society, but you can't live. After thinking about the luxurious mansion of Yaoyorozu Momo's house, Masada's heart is another one. Bring tears. However, the main reason is that I simply want to be a hero S. After hearing Masada's words as if he was complimenting himself, Ochako's face couldn't help but flushed, and he felt a sense of identification with him in his heart. But afterwards, this philosophical remark made Ochako a little dazed. Simply want to be a hero S. What do you mean? It means literally, don't be shaken by other people's opinions, just follow your own righteous hero S. Isn't it super handsome? I just want to be such a hero S. Masada looked even more passionate, got up from the chair, patted the table and said loudly. Ding dong, ding dong. Chapter 21 Weird Dinner. Advertisement. What's the situation? Why did the doorbell ring when I patted the table? Dad won't go home at this time. The sudden doorbell interrupted the Zhengma's speech. Yaoyorozu is almost here. Mrs. Igarashi's smiling face came out of the kitchen again. I didn't expect Yaoyorozu to come so quickly, and Mingming only called and said not long ago. Quote question mark. Nani, do you want to come to eat at home today? Suddenly realizing what his mother was talking about, he panicked suddenly. Yes, isn't Yaoyorozu in the same class with you? Mom thinks that you will be classmates for the next 3 years, so let's get acquainted with it first. Isn't it intentional? This woman definitely did it on purpose. It's completely black when cut. This is really a big crisis. Is today really my unfortunate day? Not only was he deceived by the dead fisheye teacher, and was despised by Beiji, but would he still be scammed by his own mother? This is really bad now. Click. Just when Masada was still thinking about it, the door suddenly opened by herself. Yaoyorozu Momo, holding the key, stood at the door. Hello auntie, excuse me. Ah lala, Yaoyorozu is coming, come in and sit down, dinner will be ready soon. Nani. Masada feels that her brain is not enough today. The cute natural idiot girl suddenly wants to live under the same roof with herself, and her childhood sweetheart has the keys of her own home somehow, 2 pieces it happened on the same day. Sure enough, it was caused by the dead fisheye teacher, right? If he doesn't lie to people, these things will definitely not happen. For things that he couldn't figure out, Masada could forcibly derive a reason without any psychological pressure. Poor teacher Aizawa Shota was very unlucky this time. This is classmate Uraraka. Why are you at Jungtai's house? Yaoyorozu Momo, who had changed his slippers and walked into the house, was also very strange, why he exchanged phone numbers with himself at the school gate not long ago. Classmates suddenly appeared here. It's Yaoyorozu man. Hello. Ochako seemed to be always full of vitality and greeted happily. Well, because of my parents, I have to live in Masada's house for the past 3 years in high school. Living in a male classmate's house is still a bit shy to say. Uraraka's blushing face seems even more attractive. Live. Here. I heard you right. Are you going to live with Masada? He is a boy. Yaoyorozu Momo, who has good cultivation, couldn't help but question. Actually, I didn't expect it, because I came to Shangying to go to school from another city. At the beginning, my mother only told me to stay at one of her friends' homes. I also know today that it was Masada's home. Yeah, Uraraka explained innocently, blinking his big eyes. Advertisement. It's dinner. Your father is already on the way home, let's have some snacks. Yaoyorozu Momo was interrupted by Mrs. Igarashi, who wanted to say something. Yaoyorozu Momo, who was stuffed into the entrance by a rushing pastry, had to stop the doubts in his heart for a while. Soon, Masada's father returned home, and the 5 of them happily started the meal. Come here, I heard your mother say that you like Japanese cuisine. Auntie made omelette rice specially, cha-cha. Yaoyorozu, too, don't just stare at the rice bowl in a daze. Isn't the meal today not to your liking? No auntie, today's food is delicious. Jongma, why don't you even eat your favorite prawn tempura? Mom is going to be angry. It's really enjoyable. That's weird. One is still shy because he wants to live with his male classmate, another is full of doubts, and the other has not yet turned his head. Masada's father is eating seriously, and the reflective glasses make people unable to guess him. Mind, only Mrs. Igarashi who has been arrogant is very happy. What's the situation with this weird atmosphere? There will be ghosts if you can eat. Masada frantically complained, and caught a tempura. It's so fragrant. Jung Tu quickly overthrew what he said just now, and started eating like crazy. After all, you can't expect a guy full of muscles to contemplate the minds of so many people and turn a blind eye to food. Ahem, so on this gratifying day, let me say a few words first. Mr. Igarashi cleared his throat and pushed the glasses on the bridge of his nose. First of all, I would like to congratulate the 3 children sitting here, studying at Shangying, for taking the first step in their dreams. Then, welcome the new member of the family in the next 3 years, Uraraka Ochako. I heard that the 3 of you are in the same class, so I won't introduce more here. From now on everyone should get along well. Advertisement. Finally, I wish you 3 little guys to gain something in Shangying and lay the foundation for your future career heroes. Ahem, that's all I have to say. Ah la la, Dad's words are really serious, Mother's words only hope that you can grow up safely. It doesn't matter whether you become heroes or not, the key is not to go the wrong way, everyone hurry up and eat. After Mrs. Igarashi gave a concluding speech with a smile, the weird atmosphere at the dinner table was obviously relaxed a lot, and everyone started to chat about the interesting things that they encountered today. It's really reliable. Mom and Dad, Jung Tai thought to himself with his mouth full of food. Yaoyorozu 100, it doesn't matter if I call you that. Did you and Masada have known each other since childhood? The cheerful Ochako spoke first. Ah, it's okay, then I'll call you T. Me and Masada have known each other since kindergarten. And we have been in the same class since kindergarten until now. Yaoyorozu Momo also replied mildly. Wow, that's amazing, then you are childhood sweethearts. Since I want to live here in the future, let us get along well. Said natural Ochako. Ah yes, let's get along. Yaoyorozu Momo still has a gentle face. Although they don't know what the situation is, they seem to be talking about it somehow. Is this the friendship between women? In my previous life, I had never had such an experience in my entire life, thinking about it in a daze. Ah, by the way, why do you have my house key? Suddenly remembering this question, I was asking too suspiciously. It's my mother who gave Yaoyorozu 100. It will be my and your father's wedding anniversary soon. Mom and Dad are going on vacation in the next 2 weeks. I was worried about bullying Cha-Cha, so Yaoyorozu Bai came to supervise you, but now it seems to be unnecessary. Mrs. Igarashi explained with a smile. It's okay auntie, I'm usually boring at home alone, so I can just come and play together, and I can also help my wife with homework. Yaoyorozu Momo responded with a domineering style. As I said before, Masada's cultural class scores are really mediocre. Many exams rely on Yaoyorozu Momo to pass the test. Maybe the talent points are added to the muscles. Chapter 22 Brave and Integrity Minoru Mineta. Advertisement. Take a look at the Kendo department has recruited newcomers. Wow, there is a fight club, do you want to participate? Ochako, who was walking with Jungta on the campus the next day, said excitedly. This is like a high school activity. Yesterday, I was really scared by the dead fisheye teacher. Xiaotai said naturally. But I am unswervingly going home. Joining a club or something is a waste of life. With time, I have done 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10 kilometers long run. It's amazing. Is this just your training method? It sounds so handsome. The stars lit up in Meng Meng Da's eyes again. Ahem, no, it's a special training method for a peerless strong, not suitable for people like us. I didn't expect Ochako to believe what he said casually, and it was a bit embarrassing. Don't do this, Cha-Cha. Raising his hand and touching Ochako's shaggy hair, his determination was strengthened. Never. Tingling bell, the bell rang after class. Jung Tai drooped his eyelids, like a salted fish that had lost his dreams lying on the table. Forgive me, why are there such boring cultural classes all morning? It feels like Shangying is completely indistinguishable from an ordinary school. What nonsense are you talking about? This is the daily life of high school students. Yaoyorozu Momo, who came to the side of Jungta, heard Masada's complaint with a black line on his face. It's lunchtime, get up and eat. In Shangying's cafeteria, Chef Hero S is in charge, and you can taste first-class cuisine at affordable prices. Masada, Yaoyorozu Momo and Ochako came to sit next to the classmates with their dinner plates. Shangying is really awesome. Igarashi, whose mouth was filled with food, had already forgotten what he said not long ago and said vaguely. Ah, yes, the yakiniku here really tastes super good. Kirishima, who was sitting on the side table, also had his mouth full, eating frantically. Kirishima, you really are a man. The first thing to do as a man is not to be hungry. Yes, hard-lined men are always energetic. Ooh. Advertisement. The surrounding students all looked at the passionate duo who was inexplicably excited with a black line on their faces. They couldn't understand this kind of romance at all, except. Really, it turns out to be like this. It is really reasonable. After all, people are iron, rice and steel. They don't eat a meal and are hungry. As carbon-based organisms, human beings need to rely on food to maintain their energy for their physiological activities. Yes, and Hero S is even more so. After all, Participating in Hero S activities requires much more energy than normal people, and Hero S stays on standby anytime and anywhere. At this time, look for all opportunities to eat and fill. A full stomach is indeed the kingly way, as expected to be a Masada classmate. Is there such a profound truth in the short words? No wonder I can be so strong, it seems that I am still far from enough. This is Arizuku. Those two over-blooded guys can't think so much. Are you doing reading comprehension, classmate Lugu? There is one more person in Class A who can't understand. By the way, did Ochako-chan come to school with Masaru today? Hiro. Asui Suyu wanted to break the awkward atmosphere and asked Ochako curiously. Yes. I currently live in Masada's house. Cha-cha was very straightforward. Nani. A loud roar came from the dinner table, but it was not Asui Suyu who screamed, but the little man Minoru Mineta with a purple unknown substance on his head. Minoru Mineta in front of him bit his lower lip tightly, his face showed a gloomy expression, the red bloodshot eyes were densely covered with blood, and a strange black aura emerged from his body, like a beast that chooses to eat. Staring at the grandma who was still eating a lot of food. Feeling that there was an unkind look on her body, Masada raised her head curiously and looked in that direction. Isn't this the little purple dwarf? What does this exaggerated Yan Yi want to do? Did I grab the food he likes? However, Minoru Mineta's expression is a bit funny when it is too harsh, after all, it is fierce. The expression combined with the strange purple ball on his head and the pointed mouth will look very strange, not to mention that his height is only a little over 1 meter, Masada is an overwhelming advantage compared to him. The Masada is about 1.8 meters. Mineta-san, what's the matter? Even though she wanted to laugh a little bit in her heart, Masada asked politely. Jing, you guy. Minoru Mineta cheered himself up looking at the strong muscles on Junta's body. Obviously, you are already a childhood sweetheart with Yayorozu Wan, isn't it enough? Unexpectedly, even living with classmate Uraraka. Unforgivable. Grape cried out with his hands pounding his chest. The classmate on the side was also shocked by his speech. It seems to be the same when I heard Mineta say that. On the first day, living with a female classmate in the class is a bit too much. There is one thing. Ojiro Mashirao with a fluffy tail analyzes it on the side. Advertisement. Serious Ida rushed in front of Shanta and waved his hands excitedly. Shanta. Did you use any means to force Uraraka to live with you? Uraraka. Don't worry, if you are forced to live together, just blink, so many of our classmates will help you. I didn't realize that Cha-cha, who hadn't made it clear just now, was curious why the students reacted so exaggeratedly, and blinked their eyes dumbly. Did you really blink? The stunned everyone. Speaking of which, I didn't expect Mineta-san turned out to be an honest person, even in the face of a strong Masada-san, he can stand up bravely. Jiro Kyoka, a cool girl with long earlobes and a very neutral dress, exclaimed. Sure enough, people can't look good. At this time, Minoru Mineta also slowed down, and continued. I really envy you too. Are you the protagonist of this world? Why can such good things be encountered? So you are envious. Everyone was stunned again. That, everyone may have misunderstood something. In fact, Uraraka's parents and Junta's parents have been friends for many years. This time it was because of Uraraka's parents that they lived in Junta's house. The gentle and reliable Yayorozu Bai stood up at the right moment and explained it to everyone. As that's so, Masada classmate, I blamed you by mistake, sorry. 90 bows. What? I knew each other at home, it was really a false alarm, haha. Retract my previous words, Minoru Mineta is a sleazy and wretched guy, just like him. After the interruption of this matter, the people in Class A of the first grade who had just met recently resumed their meal happily, and the atmosphere gradually became harmonious. Chapter 23 Masada's Battle Uniform. Advertisement. Soon, the afternoon class began. And this is also one of the unique subjects of Hero S Fundamentals. I walked in through the door normally. All Might, staring at the 2 golden bunny ears, slammed open the classroom door and strode towards the podium. It's All Might. That's amazing. He really works as a teacher in Shangying. It's the Hero S uniform of the Maiman Silver Age. The style of painting is so different. I'm going to get goosebumps. The classmates who were sitting all showed excitement. It can be said that they all grew up listening to the story of All Might, and now they see a real person for the first time, and it is inevitable that they will scream excitedly. Even Masada looked at All Might with excitement. After all, what All Might is currently showing is exactly what Masada longs for and pursues. Strong, free, well-loved, and expensive salary, these are the motivations for Masada to become Hero S. The subject I am in charge of is called Hero S Basics. It is a course for various trainings to consolidate the foundation of Hero S. It can be said that this course is also extremely important in your entire student age. By the way, it also has the most credits. With an exaggerated stretch, he pulled out a white card with battle written on it from behind, and All Might continued. Then, without further ado, today's course is combat training. Hey, finally there are some courses that can make people move. Masada, whose blood was full of restless factors, became excited immediately after listening, and the corners of his mouth opened up inadvertently. I'm waiting a little bit. It's too late. Everyone, since it's talking about fighting, then. There was a sudden rumbling sound from the wall beside the classroom, and All Might spread his arms. I have to mention the battle suit. Advertisement. Oh. The battle suit. The students who had just calmed down were excited again. After all, in their opinion, the battle suit is one of the symbols of Hero S. These battle uniforms are made according to the quirk form and personal hope that you filled out before enrollment. Then, please change your battle uniforms and gather at Beta Square immediately. Wow, although you have known the design of your battle uniform for a long time, it was really amazing when I actually saw it. Masada, who was next to Yaoyorozu Wan, said in a low voice, lying in her ear. But is it a bit too? That's the one you know. The Masada was also a little embarrassed to say. I can't help it. I want to create bigger objects to expose more skin. This is really troublesome. But don't worry, I will pay attention. The breath coming from my ear made Yaoyorozu Wan's face was flushed with red, and it was really cute. Speaking of it, my classmates, battle suits are all pretty good. Little Bakugo's grenade, Suyu's diving suit, and Cha-Cha's future warrior suit are all great. And when I was wearing a uniform before, I didn't even notice that Cha-Cha was like this. And Ochako herself is also slightly shy, because the writing is not very specific. The battle suit production company made her clothes into types without authorization. This makes her a little uncomfortable. Hey, Izuku, are you imitating All Might? Absolutely. Suddenly a green bunny head was found in the crowd, and he was yelling too loudly. It's so clear at a glance. Indeed, my battle uniform has been designed with reference to the image of All Might. But it's too your battle uniform. Isn't it too casual? The battle uniform on Midori Valley Izuku was given by his mother. His school gift, so he also cherishes it very much. Lugu's words also expressed the aspirations of the other students in the class, because compared to their armors, helmets, etc., Masada's battle uniforms can be regarded as crude. A black vest and trouser suit made of some unknown material, and a pair of boots that are also all black. The above is all the trades of Masada. Ha, I don't feel casual. Hearing Izuku's doubts, she smiled too mysteriously. Advertisement. You know, this vest on my body is a super vest that has many advantages such as high temperature resistance, strong toughness, will not shrink after washing, breathability, sweat absorption, etc. Boots and pants are also resistant to high temperature and strong. Toughness is the primary premise. By the way, the material of my vest is not inferior to Mr. Aizawa's scarf. Masada's combat uniform is naturally designed before, and there are no fancy requirements. The only key point is high temperature resistance. But just this point, almost spent Masada's small vault from childhood to large. And from my point of view, no matter how advanced the battle suit is, it is still only auxiliary equipment, as long as it is strong enough. Besides, do you know my quirk? To be honest, those battle suits with sensitive instruments are not suitable at all. I guess I have to scrap it right after I use the quirk. So, sure enough, it's a man's romance to fight close to the flesh. After hearing Masada's remarks full of the breath of secondary 2, the surrounding students also fell into contemplation. Indeed, those top heroes rarely rely on their own combat uniforms to fight, but rely on their own strength to defeat villains. For example, All Might, wearing pajamas and slippers can still defeat criminals when buying breakfast, and the tight-fitting combat suit is more of a symbol, and it can't bring him more help. Igarashi boy is right. Classmates, we can't rely too much on combat uniforms, but should work harder on our own quirks. Developing our own quirks to improve our own strength is always more important than pursuing external forces. All Might, who was listening to Masada's remarks just now, also concluded, interrupting the students' thinking. Wearing a full armor, Ida was thinking about Masada's words just now. After regaining her consciousness, she immediately made a standard gesture of raising her hand. Teacher, I noticed that this is the venue used for entrance exams. Are we going to conduct urban drills again? Iida student, a talent like you who can accurately figure out the psychology of the boss and can play a role in attracting others, it is really wrong to be hero S, not to be a government official. The boy Iida observed very carefully. But, it's great to have students like this, All Might thought in his heart. Today we have to go further. Conduct indoor combat training. Chapter 24 Indoor Battle. Advertisement. On the surface, most battles with villains take place outdoors. But from the statistical data, the probability of villains appearing indoors is much higher than outdoors. Incarceration, house arrest, underground trading, in this society where hero S is almost saturated, the really cunning villains will always be lurking in the dark. You will be divided into hero S group and villain S group, carry out indoor 2v2 indoor simulation actual combat. Skip basic training, Asui Suyu on the side said. After all, generally the first class will do some physical training to let the students adapt. No, this is the practice for mastering the basics. But this time everyone is not facing the robots that can be destroyed as long as they are destroyed. It is the villains who have wisdom and can think. Teacher, how do you determine the specific outcome? Yaoyorozu, who is in charge of brain power, can find the key in the words. It doesn't matter if you accidentally leave the building down, right? Masada interrupted in reconciliation. Can you just hit the other side directly? This is the grumpy little Bakugo. Don't have additional conditions like Aizawa-sensei again, such as the end of expulsion. Cha-cha, still in a shy state and a little worried. Then how exactly do you group them? Tasmi, who started the evil spirits? No, Ida asked seriously. Do you think my cloak is handsome? We have a traitor. After hearing a series of questions, All Might suddenly felt a little dazed. Decisively took out a piece of paper from behind, and read it as it was. Ahem, listen up. The specific situation is like this: villains hides nuclear weapons in the base. And Hero S must find ways to deal with it. Hero S must strive to recover nuclear weapons or arrest villains within the specified time, while villains must protect nuclear weapons or arrest Hero S. It's like Hero S and kidnappers in American movies. All Might thought he was smart and made a summary. Is this an official complaint? The students were stunned with a smile in their hearts. As for the groups and opponents, it's up to the lottery. After speaking, All Might took out a lottery box from the different space behind him, and drew out 2 balls from it. It happened to be the Hero S group and the villains group. So, the first group, Hero S group, Midoriya Izuku, Asui Tsuyu. Villains group, Bakugo Katsuki, Ida. Advertisement. Midori Valley and Bakugo both showed surprised expressions at once, and Bakugo took on a terrible look on his face after a brief surprise. He can't wait to have a good communication with Lugu. Bakugo boy, Iida boy, in this actual combat, you must try to learn the villain's thinking mode and let go of it. But it is not allowed to be too outrageous. To Bakugo, who was about to enter the arena, Katsuki and Ida, All Might said. At this time, other classmates had already come to the monitoring room, watching the battle while also learning from it. No, teacher, Bakugo's current facial expressions don't need to learn villains, right? He is the villain properly, right? Whole waste for a long time. There is a quirk. That is to say, have you been lying to me? Bakugo, with a more and more savage expression on his face, was about to release his anger. At this time, the Hero S group. That, Asui, what is your quirk? We can first understand each other and specify a battle plan. Lugu, who is not good at dealing with girls, asked shyly. Just call me Tsuyu Izuku sauce. My quirk is frog. I can basically do all the characteristics of frogs. Is Izuku sauce quirk for body strengthening hero? Ah, almost, but I still can't control my quirk very well, so it's not suitable for people to use. So this time the actual combat can only rely on my own strength and Tsuyu classmates. Green Valley expression seriously clenched his fists. Izuku-chan, I have an idea. Asui Tsuyu seemed to suddenly think of a good strategy, and whispered to discuss with Midori Valley. Then, the battle begins. All Might's voice came from the headset. Izuku-chan, then follow the plan. Good student Tsuyu, your strategy is great. After listening to Asui Tsuyu's strategy, Midori Valley's face also raised confidence. Xiao Sheng, I won't lose again this time. In the spooky building, Green Valley, lurking alone in the corridor, waited patiently. Found it, the location of the nuclear weapon is in the most spacious room in the center of the building. Asui's voice came in his ears. Receive. Midorigu, who hung up the headset, stood up. Since the position of the nuclear bomb is not what Tsuyu expected, the first step has been perfectly completed, then my performance is the next step. Advertisement. First. Boom. 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 Midoriya Izuku suddenly banged on the wall beside him, making a huge movement. It didn't take long. I found you, Fei-ju. A familiar voice came from the corner. Elicit a small victory. If villains were me, Xiaosheng would definitely run up to beat me as soon as he came up. Looking at Bakugo with a hideous expression in front of him, Midori Valley slowly assumed a fighting pose. Huh, Fei-ju, who are you doing that posture for you? Do you think I was playing a house game with you? Seeing Lugu's posture, Bakugo seemed to be insulted, and exploded quickly with his hands facing backwards. Strikes towards the Green Valley. Green Valley stood still facing Bakugo, who was rushing forward aggressively, and seemed to be frightened. However, just when Bakugo rushed in front of him, Midori Valley suddenly turned sideways, clamped Bakugo's right hand with his arm, and then put it on his shoulder, slamming Bakugo in a shoulder-to-shoulder posture. Fell to the ground. The sharp pain from his back made Bakugo's eyes widened unbelievably. Did you see through? Waste a long time, you fellow. Midori Valley, standing in front of Bakugo, panted, looking at Bakugo who was sitting up, and said, if you are a small victory, you will usually launch a large attack from the right at the beginning. I have analyzed the Hero S that I think are great, and I wrote them down in the notebook that was thrown away after being bombed by you. I'm not the one who won't do anything for a long time. Don't comment on your own right there, waste a long time. Who do you think you are? Who else allows you to look down on me? The anger exceeded the critical point, and Bakugo roared and thought of Midori Valley launching an attack. However, this time Green Valley did not face the battle, but turned around and ran. Damn it. Give me a standstill for a long time. Bakugo lost his shot and became even more angry. Behind him, he quickly threw an explosion and chased towards Green Valley, but Green Valley managed to avoid several attacks by virtue of corners and bunkers. Here, it should be almost done. Feeling where he is, and comparing it with the map in his mind, Lugu's eyes showed war. Asterisk. Chapter 25 Fateful Duel. Advertisement. Boom. Hello, Bakugo classmate. Let me know the situation, how is your place? Another attack was evaded by Midoriya, and the constant explosion made Ida on the other side couldn't help asking. Looking at Midori Valley, who stopped running, Bakugo seemed to calm down, facing away from Midori Valley Izuku. Shut up, just keep me where you are. Annoyed by the constant chattering words in the headset, Bakugo yelled at Iida and said that the headset was picked off and thrown away. Next, let me die and waste a long time. Both hands suddenly blasted backwards, and with the acceleration generated by the blasting, they rushed directly to Lugu's side, and a whip leg slammed towards Lugu. Lugu knows very well that he currently does not rely on quirk and cannot directly compete with Bakugo, which is better than him in all aspects, so he has not blocked it. A quick squat, dodging Bakugo's leg, before Bakugo's legs were on the ground, his center of gravity was unstable, and he shot and grabbed Bakugo's belt, and then it was another familiar scene, which occurred when Bakugo rushed over. His inertia once again threw Bakugo to the ground. The action was seen through again. Bakugo's heart at this time was a little shocked besides anger. Is this really a waste of wood from childhood to most of the time? Seeing Lugu pull out the tape used for the capture, Bakugo reacted very quickly. Soon a carp stood up from the ground, and then with a sudden wave of his right hand, he blasted towards Lugu again. That's awesome, that guy, can you play with that Bakugo without activating the quirk? At this time, the students in the monitoring room were also discussing. The strength that Green Valley, who had always been ordinary, displayed at this time made them a little vibrated. The Green Valley boy is already very good in judging the form. In addition, it took more than 10 years to write in the notebook. The knowledge of Hero S that was engraved in his mind has finally come to fruition. All Might was also secretly happy for Lugu. Hey, Green Valley, your quirk, isn't it great? Ah, give it to me quickly. Anyway, I'm still stronger. Advertisement. While roaring loudly, while constantly swinging blasts towards Green Valley, Bakugo also gradually adapted to the frequency of Green Valley's dodge, and became more brave as he fought. Sure enough, you can't win a small victory just by blindly dodge. Then it can't be delayed. Midori Valley also found that it was becoming more and more difficult to avoid Bakugo's attack, and if he continued to fight like this, he would soon be defeated. Enough saved. Suddenly, Bakugo muttered to himself while touching his grenade-shaped guard. Hey, Feiju, you already know your stalker-like investigation method. Huh, Bakugo suddenly calmed down, making Midori Valley a little unclear. I used the sweat glands in the palm of my hand to excrete the nitroglycerin-like liquid to trigger the explosion. Bakugo, like all villains would do before being knocked down, explained his quirk to the Green Valley in front of him. If the battle suit adopts the design I hope, then this pair of handguards should already have a lot. Toggling a mechanism on the handguard, Bakugo showed a grinning smile. Crap, Bakugo boy shouldn't he? Hurry up and stop Bakugo boy. All Might in the monitoring room immediately grabbed his heart when he saw this scene, and shouted at the communicator. However, at this time, Bakugo had already threw the headset aside, and could not hear the voice of All Might in the monitoring room. Aim his arm at Green Valley. Could it be that? Seeing the dark hole in Bakugo's handguard, Green Valley faintly came to a conclusion. If it is really what I imagined, then this trick must not be hit. But this distance is also inevitable. There is only one opportunity. You must grasp it. Feeling the sweat in his hands, Lu Jiyu clenched his fists. Launch. Smash. Two roars were made at the same time. Boom. After the two attacks collided, there was a huge explosion, and the crazy air current drove Green Valley to slam the wall hard. However, Bakugo's attack at this time was directed at Green Valley's side, but Green Valley's attack was indeed directed at his head. The tremendous power brought by Oneforall caused Green Valley's fist to produce a huge wind of fists, which intercepted it before Bakugo's attack hit, and then, the explosion from that special guard was crushed by the huge wind. Wrapped together and rushed to the top of the two people's heads. Advertisement. Suyu-chan. After the blow, his arm was scrapped and he came into close contact with the hard wall, and was no longer able to fight. After shouting out the name of his partner, he slowly slipped to the ground against the wall. Received. Jero. Asui Suyu, who has not shown up before, has been hiding outside the door of the nuclear weapons room. When I heard Green Valley's roar in the headset, I felt the vibration under my feet, and rushed into the room quickly against the wall. Hero S is finally here. Hurry up and catch it. Seeing Asui Suyu who suddenly appeared in front of her, Ida, who had been anxiously waiting for Bakugo news, rushed forward. This room was specially selected by him. It is very empty and there are not many bunkers. It is very suitable for his quirk play. However, before he rushed in front of Asui Suyu, a huge shock came from under his feet. Then, A shock smashed through the hard floor and opened a huge hole in the floor. After that, he continued to move upward with incomparable momentum, running through the entire building. Sorry, Ida-chan. While Ida was looking for a place to stay and couldn't take advantage of his explosive movement speed, Asui Suyu was like a real frog, with his limbs attached to the wall, fast. Moved towards the nuclear weapons. And Ida also noticed Asui's movements, but he couldn't help it because of the falling rocks and fragmented ground. Damn it. Ida let out an unwilling voice while complaining to herself in her heart. Pop. At this moment, Asui leapt hard from the wall, and with the recoil given by the wall, Asui tightly hugged the nuclear weapon. The battle is successful. Jero. Hero's party win. Has the plan succeeded? I won. LVGU Izuku fell to the ground weakly and heard the voice of All Might in the headset. Although there was severe pain everywhere in his body, his face was still happy. Expression. What are you talking about? Which one of your eyes sees you winning? Although he was taken aback by Midori Valley's huge attack, Bakugo knew that the battle was not over. The Green Valley in front of him is obviously unable to fight, so he can tell that he won. Yes, Xiaosheng, I won. Midori Valley faced Bakugo, who walked in front of him and looked down at him, speaking weakly but firmly. I won. Asterisk. Chapter 26 Respective Battles. Advertisement. Time to return to before entering the building. Morkagu-san, can you use the same attack you did during the entrance exam now? Asui Suyu asked Izuku, tilting his head. Yes, but I almost lose combat power after hitting such a blow. Although I don't know what Asui asked about this, Green Valley still answered honestly. Ida-chan's quirk is engine. Although Bakugo's quirk is not clear what it is, he seems to be Grumpy Jero. Without immediately answering Midori Valley's question, Asui continued to ask. Yeah, but Xiaosheng is very powerful. Although his personality is a bit weak and easy to be irritable, he has good goals, self-confidence, physical strength, and quirk. These are several times better than me. Lu Jiyu remembered the past and lowered his head. So, Izuku-chan, are you sure you can irritate him and hold him Jero? At this point, Asui's expression became serious. Ida-chan is a serious person. If it is him, there is a high chance that he will stay close to the nuclear weapons. Coupled with his quirk, the nuclear weapons should be in a relatively empty field. If we rush in directly, the speed he has a high chance of failing if he can't be compared. But I have a place that he can't do. My quirk can make me cling to the wall for a short time and crawl. If you lead Bakugo classmate away from the nuclear weapons, and then drag him through the floor of the room where the nuclear weapons are located, then Ida-chan's mobility is completely incapable. Moreover, he also prevents me from having to find a foothold. The speed will inevitably become very slow. Taking advantage of this time I can approach along the wall and retract the nuclear weapons Jero. Asui finished talking about his strategy in one breath, and looked at Lugu with solemn expression. After all, if her strategy is to succeed, then what Green Valley has done is arguably the most important. Not only must Bakugo be distracted, but also the bottom of the room where the nuclear weapons are located. While holding Bakugo, it is also necessary to find a chance to penetrate the floor. This is not a simple challenge. It's amazing. I thought of a great strategy in such a short time. And if it is to fight Xiaosheng. Yes, Suyu sauce. While shocking Asui Suyu, Midori Valley Izuku also squeezed fist. I won't lose this time, little win. Advertisement. In the end, it turned out that the loser was almost unscathed, but the one who won it fell to the ground. You lost the battle, but did you win the game? The students who watched the training results in the monitoring room were silent. And All Might had already rushed to the building at this time. Bakugo, who learned what happened from All Might, also understood that as far as training is concerned, he really lost. No. The attack on his right hand was completely seen through by Fei Ju. He even figured out a strategy to deal with me. Even the final attack was blocked and became a boost to his victory. Looking at his own guard, Bakugo fell into self-doubt at this time. As if he had learned something incredible, Bakugo's eyes were suddenly bloodshot, panting. Doesn't that mean? Even if it is a one-on-one singles match, I have completely lost. As if living in an illusion for more than 10 years, Bakugo stood there in a daze. Let's go, Bakugo boy. All Might, who stood behind Bakugo and watched for a while, sighed and stepped forward and patted him on the shoulder. Regardless of whether the outcome is winning or losing, those experiences will leave us with valuable experience. Back in the observation room, All Might began to comment. The best performer this time is Suyu girl. I believe it makes no sense to everyone, right? Do you have any classmates to give a general explanation? Every time this kind of questioning session was reached, Masada couldn't help but look at Yaoyorozu Momo. Yaoyorozu, who has been a student since childhood, is also a good boy who actively answers questions from the teacher. Sure enough, as soon as All Might's voice fell, Yaoyorozu raised his hand. Advertisement. First of all, from the battle, Bakugo's actions were completely directed at personal grievances, and he did not communicate with his teammates at all, and even threw away the headset, which is totally undesirable. The same is true of Lugu students. In such an indoor battle, it is very stupid to strike a powerful attack that can penetrate the building. It is easy to hurt the innocent. Although the last Iida made no mistakes, he chose the terrain that was beneficial to his quirk, but because these were all seen through by Asui in advance. So the best performer was Asui, who thought of and implemented strategies in a short period of time. Hi, you are still the same. Can you analyze so much so quickly? Tisk tisk, so it seems that you may know me better than myself. Standing next to Yayorozu Hyaku, Masada had such an expression. Look at her. Who knows you, idiot? Pretending to be fierce, Yayorozu verbally replied, still with a blush on Yayorozu's face. Ahem, that Yayorozu 10,000 girls answered very well. All Might didn't expect Yayorozu Momo to answer more than he thought. It really deserves to be an escort. In the next battle, there was nothing outstanding in Junta's eyes. The only thing that looked a little bit interesting was Shoto Todoroki, who was also a student with Yayorozu Momo. He and Shoji Mezzo formed the Hero's group against the villains group formed by Ojiro Mashirao and Toru Hagakure. Under Shoji Mezzo's judgment, the entire building was frozen in an instant, and the two villains were trapped without harming the nuclear weapons, and the victory was easily won. After that, he used the ability of the left half of his body to thaw the building. Hey, 100, isn't this guy's quirk too strong? It's ice and fire again, and the graphics are super cool. If he is put in the game, he will definitely be a magician. It's just like a monster, said Yayorozu with an exaggerated expression, but Masada's face didn't seem to be nervous. Hearing what she said, Yayorozu 100's hand squeezed her hand in a place invisible to everyone. Don't give me this set in front of me. I know your strength. Obviously, Yayorozu Momo thinks that Shoto Todoroki's demonstrated strength can be easily dealt with by Masada. Hey, don't be so serious, this is already a habit. The Masada, who felt the attack that could not be avoided, also explained with a smile. Just as the two were fighting, All Might's voice came again. Then the next group, Hero's group Igarashi Masada, Minoru Mineta against villains group Yayorozu Momo, Uraraka Ochako. Asterisk. Chapter 27 Civil War. Advertisement. Quote. The two people who heard the sound were shocked. Ah, the opponent is Baihei Cha-Cha. It's too unfortunate, right? Masada said with a drooping face. Don't say such useless words. I won't release water at you. You also give me some strength. Cha-Cha. Let's go, okay. I didn't expect the opponent to be Masada, so let's go first. Gone, because it was the villains group, the two immediately went together to set up the venue. Well, it's really ruthless, so where is my partner? Masada, who still didn't stop, looked around, looking for the purple grape, and then found that he was staring at Gang with a foolish expression on his face. Toru Hagakure, who walked in after getting dressed, kept comparing his thumbs. Hero's section, long live. Quote. Will it be better for me to put him down before the match? Mineta, who was still with his thumb, didn't find a malicious guilty engulfing him. In front of the building. So what are you looking at me for? Minoru Mineta asked impatiently, who had been staring at him as soon as the game started. I want to ask this sentence too. What have you been looking at me since just now? I first declare that my orientation is normal. Minoru Mineta, who was asked, seemed to have been wronged and asked. Actually, even if the orientation is abnormal, I won't find you, right? Minda-san. Of course I am waiting for you to get in and capture nuclear weapons. Masada looked right. I heard you right. You are so strong, why don't you go and wait for me to go? I can't do it. Don't you understand such a simple truth? Quote. It makes sense. Minoru Mineta, who seemed to be persuaded by Masada, yelled, then you can't let me go alone. I have no fighting power. I just thought about it too much, as if it's really not good for teammates to fight alone, then you can only complete the task without hurting the other party. Hey grapes, and quickly find a way to come out. How can I think of this? Advertisement. You don't have a brain for fighting, but it's really hard for you. Masada looked at Minoru Mineta, who had just reached his waist, with a mocking expression. If you say that, I'm going to be angry. Don't think I'm afraid of you. However, Mineta-san, you hesitated just now. And while the two were still quarreling. Well, Yayorozu 100, we are so right, are they too much? Seeing Yayorozu Momo created countless traps through his own quirk and renovated the entire building into a fortress, the kind TT couldn't help but feel a little bit worried. Cha-Cha, you just met Masada and don't know him. Yayorozu Bai explained when he heard Cha-Cha. Maybe what he showed yesterday has already made you feel very strong, but Jungtae's real strength is far more than that. Thinking of Jungtae's damage done in his own training room and the way of exercising that can be called self-abuse, Yayorozu continued. Don't look at him always saying that others are so strong or powerful, and his expression is super exaggerated, but as long as you look carefully, you can see the arrogance in his eyes. That's the arrogance of not treating those people as competitors at all. To be honest, I think the layout we have so far looks perfect, but if we are too serious, it can be said to be of no use. His physical fitness has reached an exaggerated level, and it is no better than those that can be strengthened. People who have their own physical quirk are worse off using quirk. The other one who defeated the robot during the school test was him. And he was still unscathed. But you don't have to worry too much about Cha-Cha. Masada takes his friends very seriously, and he can't go all out to use his quirk in the face of us. After all, his quirk is too dangerous and is only suitable for real villain's use. But even so, we have to spend 200% of our energy to face it. At this point, Yaoyorozu made a steel plate to block the door to the room. In the past few years, Yaoyorozu, who has been training with Masada, can already create objects with a smaller amount of fat, and it is also involved in some complex objects. Uraraka recalled after entering the building. A steel wire capture net that falls as soon as the main entrance of the building is pushed open will quickly open to capture the target after falling. An improvised explosive charge was placed on the wall beside the stairs. Iron thorns on the ground in the shadow of the corner. The huge steel plate in the corridor will block the way. The door of the room where the nuclear weapons are tightly sealed with steel bars, and there are various desks and other debris that he has suspended with quirks, waiting to be smashed down at any time. A simple grenade in his hand. There is also a cannon facing the door. Advertisement. These are the fortresses Yaoyorozu has built after entering the building in advance using its own quirk. Even though her ability has greatly improved over the years, the amount of knowledge has also become more abundant, making these things basically used up Yaoyorozu's stored fat, and she can no longer use quirk. But these seem to be enough for Cha-Cha. Although they are only very crude, they are also explosives and grenades. No matter how powerful it is, it won't be too small. God knows what Yaoyorozu 100 and Masada have experienced in the past few years training together, and they have completely developed into the role of arms dealer. Then, let's wait for them to come here. After laying out the last piece of steel, wiping the sweat dripping from his face, Yaoyorozu sighed confidently. I believe these can also cause some trouble to Masada. Back in front of the building, with the order of All Might, Junta and Minoru Mineta also opened the door and walked in. Shoo! Came the sound of breaking through the air. Huh! The responsive Masada immediately retreated, leaving his teammates in place. Ah, what is it? Minoru Mineta, who couldn't dodge or didn't realize what was happening, was instantly tied up by the capture net and fell to the ground. Hey, it looks like 100 style. Seeing this scene, Masada also smirked. Quirk is not a Yaoyorozu who is very good at frontal combat. He has always won by relying on wisdom and props. The net in front of her is obviously her masterpiece, so is this building full of traps. Don't froze. Help me untie this net. I can't break it, this thing is so hard. Mineta-san was still struggling on the ground. Nonsense, this thing is made of steel wire, and of course your little arm is constantly pulling. This net should be contracted with a powerful magnet, let me find it. Turning Mineta on the ground, Masada studying. Hey, with a strong effort, the capture net was pulled open, and Masada casually moved the net to the front to free Mineta. Boom. Suddenly, there was an explosion where the net fell. Gudong. Mineta swallowed as he watched the explosion in front of him. I said Masada, there won't be such things everywhere in this building, right? Surely not. Looking at Mineta's eyes full of tears, Masada grinned too much. Ah, judging from my knowledge of 100, what do you think is right now? Chapter 28 Mouth Escape. Advertisement. Hey, please don't go. This building is so dangerous, don't we discuss the countermeasures? Looking at Masada, it seemed that he didn't care about the explosion, and Mineta, who had already turned and walked inside the building, shouted involuntarily. In fact, it's not too dangerous. The power of these explosions is very limited. At most, it will hurt you. Minoru Mineta, who was shivering on the ground with fear, explained helplessly. In my opinion, the main function of these things is to delay our pace. After all, as long as the villain's group is delayed after the specified time, right? As he said, Masada's footsteps did not stop. I can't see that, although the Masada who is very passionate and believes in muscle power, his brain is also very useful at critical times. Furthermore, Mineta, you also want to become hero-s, right? Looking back at the grapes that was stunned on the ground, Masada continued. In my opinion, hero-s can't go back. The impact of Masada's words on Minoru Mineta is huge. After all, he was still a junior high school student a few weeks ago and had not experienced real fighting and danger. And in Mineta's mind, this competition is just a course. If you lose, you lose. It's no big deal. So when Masaki stared at him with two firm eyes and said those words, Mineta only felt it. It's so handsome, Masada. I want to be as handsome as you. So there are girls willing to get close to me. You are my big brother. Although surprised by Mineta's reasons, Masada was still very happy to be able to convince him. I just don't know how many levels my mouth is hiding. Okay, then you can help with the grapes. Speaking of what your quirk is. Will the grapes be picked from the head and eaten as food to become a perpetual motion machine? The curiosity was too loud to ask. Weird, there are really too many quirks. Boom. After picking a grape from the head, Mineta said, this thing can't be eaten. The sphere that I took off my head is super sticky. If I'm in good health, the stickiness can last a day. But if I picked it all at once, if it is too much, it will cause severe head bleeding. After pulling it down, new ones will grow immediately, but if you pull too much at one time, it will bleed. When I pressed the purple sphere in my hand against the wall, the ball was firmly attached to it. With Monetta's flapping, it bounced like a jelly. I won't be stuck, and it's very strong. Flexibility. As Monetta's words ended, the two fell into silence. Ah, my quirk is not suitable for fighting at all. Minda yelled out of self-defeation while looking at Masanori in thought. Advertisement. Well, although your quirk does not seem to be suitable for combat, it is still useful. It was a bit embarrassing to not think of the application of Monetta quirk at once. For example, it can be used as glue, to make trampolines, etc. Enough. Don't say it. Hurry up. Minda, who was a little collapsed in his heart, immediately stopped Masaro's words, and walked towards the stairs first. Boom. Why was it me who was injured again? I always feel a little lost. Looking at the similar scenery around him, he mumbled too much. The two have encountered various traps along the way. Not to mention the roadblocks, all kinds of explosions are endless, and the iron thorns that suddenly appear under the feet are also uncomfortable. Fortunately, Masada walked in front and opened the way, blocking most of the attacks for Monetta, otherwise Monetta might have been crying at this time. Since they didn't want to waste time destroying the steel plate in the corridor, Masada and Monetta basically detoured when they encountered the steel plate, and then found that they seemed to have circumvented themselves in. Then it seems that the right path is behind the steel plate, right? He twisted his neck and moved his bones too much. Lava glove. I saw the magma gushing out of Masada's fists completely enveloping his fists, and it continued to solidify, finally forming the appearance of a glove. This trick is just a very simple application of Masada quirk, as long as you maintain the solidity of the glove. While increasing the attack area, Masada's Ping A has the power of magma, and it is different from the stamina-consuming tricks of the Great Spitfire and the Dark Dog. Compared with the former, this trick can be said to be a fraction of the former. Be regarded as a state skill. Boom. Let Monetta step back first, hitting the steel plate in front of him with a punch too hard. Kacha. Accompanied by the cracking sound, the steel plate in front of him was beaten in half by Masada's punch. A big hole was formed where Masada punched. Advertisement. After all, these steel plates were only made by Yaoyorozu using quirk in a hurry. The materials were not superior at all, and they were naturally vulnerable to Masada's magma fist. Seeing the steel plate broken into two pieces in front of him, Masada suddenly had an idea. Minida, the grapes on your head are very sticky and elastic, aren't they? Yes, but the attack method can only be thrown at villains by myself, Monetta replied puzzled. Hey, who said he wanted you to attack? You just need to be like this. How? Is this way you can win easily without hurting them? Ha 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 ha. Jung Tai was proud of thinking of a good idea. Laughed. It sounds like a good idea. It's already so dangerous now, and it will definitely be more dangerous when it comes to a head-on confrontation. If you do it this way, it seems to be a lot safer. Naturally Monetta, who didn't have any good ideas. He agreed to Masada's proposal. Then you start now. Listen to the movement outside, Masada, they should be coming soon. Cha-Cha, whose ears were on the wall, said to Yaoyorozu with a solemn expression. Okay, I'll go to the cannon to prepare for it. It's about to fight. Remember, don't fight Jung too close up. After getting close, we are not his opponents at all. Even if Cha-Cha, your quirk can make him float on you. If you can't touch him, it won't work. We just need to hold him and Monetta classmates, their time is running out. Yaoyorozu nodded and gave a pre-war reminder. 100. Cha-Cha, be careful, I'm going to come in. Soon, the grandma's shout came from outside the door. The Cha-Cha who heard the figure immediately left the wall, standing next to the nuclear weapons and staring at the door in a fighting pose. Boom. With a loud noise, the exploded smoke blocked the sight of the two. And when the smoke dissipated, what appeared in front of Cha-Cha Hibai? Chapter 29 Masada's Strategy. Advertisement. What? Didn't you break in through the gate? It was Shanta and Minoru Monetta who appeared in the smoke. However, the two did not attack the gate that was firmly sealed by the iron bars, but directly opened a hole in the wall. Hey, 100, don't you think I'm really stupid to go to the front door? I think you must have arranged a lot of organs at the door. The Magma who still has lava left in one hand mocked with pride. It was him just now. The fist blasted open the ordinary cement wall. Villains, your good days are over. Monetta also stood beside Masada and shouted. Damn, then the things that are floating in TNT are useless. I complained in my heart that I didn't expect the other party's unexpected offensive, Cha-Cha. Ready to fight head on. Okay. Upon receiving the order, Ochako immediately opened the handle of the grenade in his hand and threw it at the two opposite people. Is that a grenade? It's too messy. With scared words on her mouth, Masada took up a huge steel plate that had been on the ground since entering the door with her other hand. Boom. The explosion of the grenade and the steel plate made a huge wave of air, and the whole room was filled with dust again. Ahem. Did it work? Cha-Cha looked ahead while flapping the dust in front of his nose. Of course it is completely ineffective. A strange voice came from behind the steel plate. After seeing this scene, Yaoyorozu couldn't believe his eyes. After all, with such a zero-distance impact, even a monster like Masada should at least make him take a step back, right? An attack like the shock generated by the shock is impossible to defend. The secret lies in this shield, in my hand. This is a super shield with double shock absorption function. The head of the Zhengma was exposed behind the huge steel plate. Grape, your quirk is really easy to use. It is comparable to a shock-absorbing spring. In the future, if you can't mix in the hero's circle and start a building materials company, it is also a very good choice. I believe everyone has already guessed how Masada easily resisted the attack. The steel plate on hand is the creation of Yaoyorozu by quirk. Although the quality is not high, it is still hard. Then layer the sphere on Monetta's head on the steel plate, and then cover it with another steel plate. Repeat the process once again, stick a handle, and it becomes a huge shield. Advertisement. The thick steel plate and the elastic sphere layer can withstand the attack. Rikido instantly turned upwards several times, and resisting such an attack is naturally not a problem. The only drawback is that the shield is too heavy, but this is not a problem for the powerful Masaru. Perhaps it should be added that Minda's head is still bleeding. In any case, Masada has the winning ticket in this confrontation. Taste this, then. Yaoyorozu, who was unwilling, fired a bombardment at Masada again. It's useless, it's useless. Surrender. Faced with the attack, Masada grabbed the shield and pushed forward, completely disregarding the flying shells. What happened afterwards also proved that the cannonball's attack did not have an effective effect. It only shattered the first steel plate and fell to the ground. Although the first steel plate was broken, it was still firmly stuck to the sphere layer and continued to play its role. In this way, Masada carried the huge shield step by step and forced Yaoyorozu Hyakuhei Cha-Cha into the corner. The two of them couldn't penetrate the huge shield at all, let alone the Masada behind the shield. The small Minoru Moneta took advantage of the two people not paying attention, sneaking a circle from behind and successfully recovered the nuclear weapons. Winner, Hero S Group. Hearing the voice of All Might in the headset, Yaoyorozu Hyaku also sighed. Masada, you have become stronger again. You didn't rush up in a daze, but learned to use your brain. This is really a huge breakthrough. Hearing Yaoyorozu Momo's words, I was too dazed and scratched his head. Although you know that you should be complimenting me, why does this sound so stupid? Without thinking about it, Masada became proud again. That's right. Originally, I was planning to rush up directly, these little traps can't stop me. But Grape suddenly cried and wanted to be my little brother, and said what he wanted to do with me. Just as handsome, I reluctantly thought of a way to use his quirk without hurting you and still win. Is this the life of the protagonist in nature? Ha 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 ha. I started to get excited again. What a fool. Yaoyorozu was speechless with black lines. After school, the students gathered in the classroom to hold an indoor training discussion meeting. Advertisement. Minida-san, your quirk is very powerful. Yes, it can be used with steel plates to make a shield that can't even be fired by a cannon. The first time the Zhengma who had just entered the classroom saw this. Grape, who was sitting on his stool with his legs upright, said arrogantly, huh. Of course, you don't know, Masada was so scared to death at the time. They all relied on my talent to disperse. It took his fear to win. But what we see on the monitor doesn't seem to be the same as what you said. The students around were a little puzzled. You can't believe me on the monitor. If you know that Junta, he almost called my elder brother, okay, eldest brother. Seeing Masita Moneta walking towards him, he immediately sat upright. Are you performing a Sichuan opera to change your face? The surrounding students have a new understanding of the shamelessness of this Grape. Jita, your strength is so great. Is it so effortless to hold such a big shield? What a passionate man. Seeing Mei coming over, Kirishima Eijiro, who shares the same topic with him, immediately leaned over. If you team up with you in the future, take me as a shield and hold it in front of you. I will be the hardest shield. After speaking, he showed off his hardened arm. Quote. Although Masada was very passionate, she held a big master to resist attacking this kind of thing. Sure enough, I still can't do it. Hello, Igarashi classmate, my name is Tokiyami Fumakage, I hope we can discuss it if I have the opportunity. A classmate with a black crow head introduced himself to Masada very seriously. How does it seem that you should discuss with Ida? Looks like a serious person. It's not clear that Tokiyami Fumakage is a junior in his heart. It is a bit embarrassing, but he still responds to his classmates one by one. After all, he will live together for 3 years. Good interpersonal relationships are very important. Since there is no one in Jungtae's house, shall we go to dinner with me today? At the school gate, Yaoyorozu asked Jungtae and Ochako, you can also train at night. Asterisk. Chapter 30 Fitness Coach Masada. Advertisement. Can I go to Yaoyorozu's home for training? Okay. Ochako, who has never been to Yaoyorozu's home and hopes to become good friends with Yaoyorozu, said happily immediately. I thought about it too much and said, well, it's okay. Speaking of it, today is also a day of training. It just happens that there is no food at home, so just go to Bayu's house and eat it. Then, at this time, Ochako sits cautiously in Yaoyorozu's extended luxury car. Well, Yaoyorozu, do you usually ride this kind of car to and from school? Ochako, who had never experienced the corrupt life of the bourgeoisie, was still a little uncomfortable. Palace your mind, Cha-Cha, buys house. But super rich. Now if you are surprised, you won't have enough eyes later. The Masada sitting next to Ochako comforted her. After all, the first time I went to Yaoyorozu man's house, I was shocked. After passing this hill, I will arrive at my house. Today, the kitchen made a big meal. Yaoyorozu, who was sitting in the passenger seat, turned his head back 100 times. After the tea will be finished, I will show you around. Let Masada go and exercise first. Ochako is a little confused. How long can it take to visit the home? Soon, Ochako understood. Well, from this gate to the end of your line of sight, it is the origin of Baijia. After getting out of the car, Masada pointed to the manor gate and introduced it to Ochako. Quote. Ochako, like the first wife who came to Yaoyorozu man's house for the first time, fell into a sluggishness. After a while, I rushed to Yaoyorozu man and stared at Yaoyorozu man like a treasured animal. There was a little star in his eyes, so excited. So Yaoyorozu 100 you are a daughter-in-law. That's amazing. In fact, normal life is no different. No, it's definitely different. Advertisement. Thinking of the scene where Yaoyorozu Momo was dragging himself to the mall for the first time, Masada was silently complaining. The dinner is very rich, and this richness is for Yaoyorozu. For Ochako, who is not particularly wealthy at home, it is even more luxurious. A variety of unheard of ingredients, novel and unique cooking methods, and even the tedious dining process, once again let Ochako deeply experience the life of a rich person. After all, this is still a society with heroes as the mainstream. After visiting the manor after dinner, Yaoyorozu Momo was forced to wait for Ochako to pull to the training ground in the back mountain. Oh, you are here. The Masada who was doing endurance training saw the two people who walked in and stopped her actions. After fighting the sludge monster and the robot at school, Masada found that all aspects of her body have been strengthened. It seems that training is never as useful as actual combat, and the results of 1 or 2 weeks of training may not be as good as an actual combat. But even so, hard exercise is always useful. Under the effect of passive quirk, cell enhancement, although the daily growth is very small, it is hardly felt. But over time, this is also a terrifying number. Nowadays, Masada has rarely been really exhausted in training. It may be that long-term high-intensity exercise can indeed make him very tired, but as long as it is too slow for a while, he will become vigorous again. Of course, the premise is not to be hungry, that is, to have enough energy for Masada to consume. Jingta, hurry up and teach me the techniques of close combat. Ochako, who has another character, immediately cheered at Jonte. Although it is not impossible to practice skills now, I suggest that you should exercise your body first at Cha-Cha. When it comes to his professional aspects, Masada is also serious. With your current physical fitness, even if you use the skills very well, there is nothing you can do with villains. The other thing is that my quirk is activated by physical strength. Don't look at my quirk, it seems to be very powerful, but the physical strength it consumes is also very scary. And I can use the quirk for a long time because of the strong physical quality. After all, matter is conserved. Although I don't know what you need to pay for Cha-Cha to start the quirk, I believe that a strong body will definitely help you in this regard. Advertisement. After speaking a long paragraph in one breath, the Masada picked up the special puller again and started to move. Of course, the choice is yours. What I just said is just some of my personal opinions. Yaoyorozu Bai also spoke to help at this time. What Masada said is really correct. After all, Hero-S activities require strong physical strength and endurance to support. If you want to become Hero-S, a good physical fitness is also necessary. Take myself as an example, I can clearly feel that compared to my past self, I can now use less fat and faster speed to make the same objects. This is a very obvious strength. Promoted. After listening to the experience sharing of Shanta and Yaoyorozu Wan, Cha-Cha also temporarily put aside the idea of learning skills, and said with a twist, If I use my quirk, I will vomit if I use it at high intensity. If it can be overcome by exercise, that would be fine. Otherwise it would be too unsightly. Hey. Okay, I believe you can do it. But it's useless to say it. Pulling the tensioner a wide range, I was too encouraging. Hurry up and shake your sweat and blood. Yes, Masada instructor. After a sweaty exercise, when the three of them walked out of the training ground, the moon was already high above their heads. It's so late to stay at my house tonight. I'll let the butler prepare clothes, how about tea? And I don't worry about you staying alone with Masada. It feels that it is already late at this time, plus the return of Masada home is also a long way away. Yaoyorozu Bai made this suggestion. Am I just such a person in your heart? Such a straightforward words can naturally hear its meaning, and looked at her sadly. I just want to sleep with Cha-Cha, you should take a shower and take a rest. Facing Masada, Yaoyorozu was still as uncandid as ever. Since Junta and Yaoyorozu Momo were good friends since childhood, there is no shortage of rooms in the mansion. Zhang Masada has a room, and the parents of both sides also acquiesced to it. Speaking of which, Masada's parents are still working in the Yaoyorozu group, and they are still middle-level cadres, but they have a very good relationship with the chairman. Asterisk. Chapter 31 Campaign Monitor. Advertisement. Just as the three of Masada gradually fell asleep, darkness was spreading in the shadow of the brightly lit city. Have you read the newspaper? He actually became a teacher. You think once the symbol of peace is killed by villains. What will this world become? How does it feel to listen to All Might's lecture? The fact that All Might came to teach at Xiangyang had obviously spread. At this time, Masada and the three were surrounded by reporters. Ah, All Might, he is a real man. After thinking about the explosive power of All Might, Masada said to Mike Feng solemnly. Classmate, I'm asking you how you feel when listening to his lecture. Are you the student who defeated the sludge monster in the first place? Hearing this sentence, the reporter present was like a cat smelling a fishy smell. The same, all rushed towards Masada. Ha 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 ha, that's right, I'm so famous now. What's the problem one by one? The recognized Masada also confessed in one fell swoop, experiencing the feeling of being a star. However, the Masada who was about to hold a press conference was suddenly pulled into the school gate with a hand. It was his head teacher Aizawa Shota. All Might has no class today. If you are stuck here, it will hinder the students from attending the class. Please come back. Aizawa Shota dragged away Zhengma while dealing with the reporter. And Yaoyorozu Baihei Cha-Cha also took advantage of the momentum to sneak into the school gate. What is it? He was just trying to interview the little brother, but he dragged him away on his own. A young reporter was annoyed and took a step towards the gate. Swipe. The door with the induction system was closed all at once, isolating the school from the reporter. What? 2 sentences in the interview will not die, what stinky airs. That's it, I've been staring for 2 days and I haven't even seen a personal figure. Behind the crowd, a slender man with silver hair watched this scene, squeezed his hands, and the drooping bangs blocked his expression. All Might. Advertisement. At this time, the wife who had walked to the door of the class was still complaining about Mr. Aizawa. Really, why don't you let me say a few words in front of the camera? This is a rare opportunity for exposure. Hey, Mr. Kim, are you surrounded in the morning? The reporter seemed to be here early in the morning. I was also blocked when I came in the morning. It took a lot of effort to escape. Hiroshima in the classroom walked away. Come over and say hello. Ah, yeah, then I really envy you. Masada said weakly, and went straight to his position and got down. Hey, Jungtae, did you encounter any good things last night? Suddenly, the nominal little brother Minoru Mineta walked up to Jungtae with a wretched look. Is it a good thing? Right. After thinking about the figure of Cha-Cha training hard to dream of, she said with too much uncertainty. I knew it. The 3 of you who went to school together, you were helpless early in the morning. Damn it. Why did you spread such a good thing? Although there seemed to be a bit of misunderstanding in the communication between the two, Masada ignored the sudden excitement of Grape, because Aizawa Shota had already walked in. Okay, be quiet. I've seen the transcripts and videos of yesterday's combat training. Bakugo, you are very capable, don't be a kid anymore. Did Midori hurt an arm again? Igarashi and Mineta, the cooperation is still very good, and I hope everyone will learn more. Okay, then hurry up and get into today's topic. Although it's a bit hasty, but your squad leader must be selected. Wow, super campus style event. Ashido, Mina and Ochako, who were full of vitality, immediately cheered. I want to be the squad leader. I want to be a leader too. Choose me. My campaign slogan is 30 centimeters above the knees of all girls. Everyone raised their hands crazy to promote themselves. The squad leader in the general subject may be just a messenger, but in the Hero S section, this is a figure responsible for the leadership group, which means that he can lay a certain foundation for becoming Hero S in the future, nothing more than everyone. Excited. The Masada who was lying on the table was also interested. Soldiers who did not want to be generals were not good soldiers. The squad leader naturally wanted to try. Quote exclamation mark. Vote now. On the seat screams, Is2 got up and said. Since we are equal, secret ballot to elect to monitor it. But Masatokan, at the beginning of school, everyone is not very familiar with how to vote for others. Asui said in everyone's mind, after all, everyone must vote for themselves in this way. This is also the place that is too wise and foolish. Nature is not very familiar with each other students, but behind him but has 2 staunch allies. Advertisement. Because of this, people with a large number of votes can be trusted in such a situation. Iida also suddenly realized when he heard Masada's attention. Iida, it's so easy to use. It's up to you, as long as you make a decision before get out of class ends. The decadent Aizawa Shota didn't want to pay attention to these things. She didn't know where to get a sleeping bag and got in. Soon, the votes came out. Masada Igarashi, 5 votes. Of these 4 votes, 3 votes are quite certain, 1 vote for yourself, 100 for Yaoyorozu, 1 vote for TNT. But who voted for the other 2 votes? Looking around at his classmates, Masaru found that Kirishima and Mineta were pointing their thumbs towards him. Oh, Kirishima, you are such a manly behavior. I recognize you as a dear friend. And Grapes, I recognize you as a little brother too. Although both voted for Masada, the treatment they received was really different. In the end, Masada was elected as the squad leader with an absolute advantage. Yaoyorozu also received 2 votes as the deputy squad leader because of the excellent comments yesterday. Okay. Then, as the monitor, I will definitely lead Class A to glory. Standing on the podium confidently made a speech about being elected, which can be regarded as making up for the regret of the morning. Chapter 32 School Building Invasion. Advertisement. What's going on? Is this the sound of an alarm? The sound of discussion came from the cafeteria. The 3-level defense system has been breached. All students are requested to go to the outdoor shelter immediately. This is the siren that only sounds when villains invade Xiangying. Everyone hurry up. Yaoyorozu, who had already memorized the school rules by heart, immediately recognized this voice and shouted loudly to the people of Class A Road. Hearing Yaoyorozu's vigilance, everyone started to take action and rushed into the corridor with the huge flow of people. Don't push indiscriminately. Don't squeeze me. It hurts. The classmates who encountered this kind of thing for the first time were pushing each other in the crowded corridors without any discipline, and they all wanted to leave the school building early and go for refuge. After all, they are just flowers in the greenhouse. Even if they are strong, their current temperament is still a bit weak. This is the morning reporter. The Masada who was pasted on the glass side suddenly saw the scene outside the window. It was not the large-scale villains invasion as imagined, but a large group of reporters poured in. At this time, Mrs. Aizawa and Mrs. McFang had stopped them. Hey, bye, can you make a loudspeaker for me? The Masada, who understood the truth of the matter, asked Yaoyorozu who was beside him and asked loudly. Yes. Although he didn't know what Masada wanted to do, Yaoyorozu quickly made a simple loudspeaker. The technical content of this thing is not too high after all. Thanks. After receiving the loudspeaker that Yaoyorozu handed over, Masada bent his knees and jumped straight from the spot. With one hand, he grabbed the exhaust pipe on the ceiling to hover in the air and sucked into the loudspeaker. In one breath. Be quiet to lousy. A loud noise above the head also attracted the attention of the noisy crowd. Human beings are like this sometimes. When there is no leader, they all cling to their own opinions and make a lot of noise, but when a strong voice sounds, as long as one person chooses to obey, more and more people will choose this way. Maybe this is the herd mentality. The current Masada has acted as such a leader. Open your eyes to Lao Su and look out the window. It's just a group of reporters rushing into the school. And what about you? Xiangying's elites only have this level. Just thinking about running away. Advertisement. In order to go out first, secretly play a black hand. Such guys should get back home as soon as possible. Hero S is not for you. Roaring full of anger, there was no second sound in the entire corridor. What the students did just now is indeed contrary to the spirit of Hero S. Knowing that there was no danger, everyone evacuated here in an orderly manner. Masaru also let go and jumped down, returning the loudspeaker to Yaoyorozu. That is. However, just as Masada was about to return to the classroom, a black shadow flashed from the corner of her eyes. 100, Cha-cha, it seems that someone has really invaded. I will catch up first, and you two will notify Aizawa teacher. Feeling something was wrong, Jung-tu quickly ordered the 2 girls and turned around and ran away. He is not in any danger, right? Cha-cha was a little worried. Anyway, we hurried to find Aizawa-sensei. Masada is very strong. Even if it is lost, he should be able to drag the Hero S to come. Although Yaoyorozu was a little worried in his heart, he still acted as the big sister at this time. The role, very sensible thinking. At this time, Masada also jumped out of the window and followed the dark shadow to a clearing behind the school building. You can stop now, you sneaky guy. Seeing the figure in front of him stopped, Jung-tai asked in a deep voice. The person on the opposite side finally revealed his figure, took off his large coat, and revealed a very ordinary face. It was so ordinary that it was almost impossible to write the words, Long Dao, on his face. Are the little ghosts so keen now? I just wanted to spy on the information, and now I have to kill you. Blame it on yourself, kid. Although he has a dragon face, his tone is exceptional arrogant. Spy on intelligence. So is it villains. With a grin, the magma on his hands has begun to surge. Masada stared at the other party without any weakness. Be careful, you are the one killed. Lava glove. He gave himself a strong attack buff. Masada kicked his legs, and the whole person galloped towards the dragon man. Magma. Melee attack. Then I'll say sorry to you first, kid. Seeing the lava on Masada's hand, the dragon man didn't panic at all, but showed a confident expression. Straight punch. Locking the villains in front of him, Jung-tai punched out. However, this powerful and fast punch failed. Quote. Masada, who failed with a punch, did not end the offensive. His body twisted with his right leg as the axis, and then he punched again. Advertisement. If you just dodged one blow, can you still dodge the second one now? Then the second time failed again. It seems that villains has a very strong reaction nerve. Can you avoid it with such a quick fist? It still looks like an easy job. Being avoided by the opponent for 2 consecutive blows, Masada's face is also a bit ugly. On the other hand, Villains had a smile on his face, standing still provoking. What's the matter? Go on. Can you hit me? Then you try this trick for me. He rushed to Long Dao Nan, his arms tensed fiercely, and a fiery fist was clamped in his fist and turned into an afterimage. Lava machine gun. It's useless, useless. You, an idiot who only knows melee and hand-to-hand combat, can't beat me. He swayed his body in the shadow of his fists leisurely, and the Dragon Man also thought he was bound to win, my quirk, but airflow perception The gas flowing in the air is under my perception. As long as your attack drives the airflow, I can perceive it and avoid it easily. Hearing the confident words of Long Dao Nan, Zheng Tai's attack also stopped. After all, it was useless to not hit the opponent, no matter how strong the attack was. Now it's my turn. Seeing that Masada had stopped the offensive, the Dragon Man stepped forward and punched Masada in the chest. Masada turned sideways like avoiding, but found that Long Dao Nan had a weird smile on his face, and his fist suddenly changed the direction of attack and stared at him. I said it. Useless kid. I can also feel the airflow generated when your body moves. That is to say, my attack is bound to hit. But you can't hit me at all. Give up. Boom. The fist slammed into Masada's chest. Quote ? Both of them were stunned. Is this a fist? What is this soft attack? What's the matter with this kid's body? I can't help him with a full blow. Chapter 33 Masada vs. Dragon Man. Advertisement. The atmosphere fell into solemnity. Masada's laughter first broke the silence. Ha 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 ha. I said you. Are you really a man? What's the matter with this fist? Did you massage me? At this moment, the aggrieved Masada felt that her whole body was smooth. Shut up, kid. I didn't use my punch at all. Feeling the full of ridicule in Masada's words, Long Dao Nan was a little frustrated. Go to death for me. Another punch was slammed into the grandma's chest. Fortunately, Masada, who knew that she couldn't escape, didn't hide, but closed her arms and put her arms in front of her head. Block your vitals with a lava fist. Boom. There was another muffled sound. Masada is still unscathed. Ha ha ha, it seems you can't do anything with me. Feeling the slight vibration from his chest, he laughed too wildly. Then it's my turn. The arm slammed down at the Dragon Man, but the opponent sensed the airflow and avoided ahead of time. Of course, Masada had been mentally prepared for a long time, and was not upset. From the point of view of your avoidance, you should be of agile type. Zheng Tai said as he watched a dragon boy who jumped back and kept a distance from him. Unfortunately, I am a power type. Or the one that is not slow. Obviously, as long as I drag on with you, your physical strength must be unsupportable. Listening to Masada's eloquent analysis, the expression of the dragon boy-like man couldn't help but look a little ugly. Unfortunately, he is really not good at strength, and in terms of speed, he is actually not as good as the opposite kid. I just rely on quirk to predict the direction of the opponent's attack in advance to avoid it. There is no need to talk about physical strength. Are all the little ghosts now monsters? What's the matter with that monster-like body? Even if one's own strength is not good enough, he won't be able to stop moving with one fist. The faculty and staff who knew Xiangying would soon find themselves on patrols, and the eldest man couldn't help but feel a little anxious. Advertisement. I don't believe that you are hit with iron all over. A forward pounce, a move, monkey steals peaches, and then came out towards Masada. Hey, where are you going to fight? Zheng Tai was startled, only feeling cold in his heart, and quickly pressed his hands down. Lava wall. The billowing magma continued to gush out from both hands, and a lava wall was built in front of Masada, exuding a hot breath to block the attack of the Dragon Man. I said you. Don't be too arrogant. The attack just now made Masada feel lingering. If the place is real, I am afraid that even All Might will have to kneel. I don't want to fight a war of attrition with you. I just want to punch you down. Lava fist. A huge amount of magma spewed out, covering the entire arm, constantly surging and solidifying, and finally formed the appearance of a fist. Unlike Big Spitfire, this is a fist made of only a large amount of lava, with a huge hit area and terrible high temperature. The eruption also suppresses the flowing eruption of magma, and while having the power to simulate a volcanic eruption, it can also erupt a stray bullet to cause a second blow. Knowing the true strength of the dragon-clad man in front of him, Masada was now afraid that he would beat him to death with too much force. At that time, it's really not easy to handle. After all, even heroes can't kill at will without permission. Although Masada wants to be the freest person, but now he is only a freshman in high school. Hide and hide again. Waved his arm, yelling at the fearful dragon man too arrogantly. Lava fist cast a large shadow on the entire open area, and the entire area was within the range of this attack. Unless you have extremely fast speed to escape before the fist falls, you can only resist this overwhelming blow. Obviously, Long Dao Nan has no such ability. Boom. A huge noise sounded, the birds in the woods all fled, and the earth shook. Then everything fell into silence. You won't be killed by me. Masada couldn't help but feel a little worried when he didn't see the figure of the dragon man rushing out. quickly drew his arm from the lava. A few jumps came to the place where the dragon man was just now, and pulled out a black object in one hand. Yeah, if you still have breath, it can be saved. Fortunately, I didn't use too much force to control the temperature just now, otherwise it would be troublesome. Sure enough, I still have to use such powerful moves sparingly when I don't have a license. Advertisement. At this time, the dragon man was already scorched black, there were few intact skin on his body, and his body even exuded the smell of barbecue. It's really a sigh of relief in the literal sense. However, due to the existence of quirk in this world, medical technology is also surprisingly advanced, and if it is not, it can basically be saved. Loud noises and vibrations also spread throughout the campus. Soon, Xiangying's faculty and staff also rushed to the scene. Hey, 100. Cha-cha. Aizawa teacher. Seeing the rushing crowd waved too. Zhongtai, where is Villains? Aizawa Shota changed his decadent appearance and asked Zhongtai seriously. Villains has been beaten to the ground by me, pointing to the man who was holding it in his hand. Masada replied indifferently, hurry up and let the infirmary mother-in-law come and heal him, his quirk is a bit tricky. I started a little harder. If I don't get medical treatment, I'm afraid it will be too late. Since Masada found the invading villains and subdued it, she set up a great job and used quirk without authorization. However, I was caught by the suddenly serious Aizawa-sensei and talked about the truth, and Yaoyorozu Hyakua Cha-cha, who was worried, asked about the length. It's painful and happy. Did you say that Villains was here to steal information? At the moment in the principal's room, Principal Mouse was asking about the incident with a kind face on his face. Ah, according to what he said, this is the case. This person's quirk is perceive airflow, a very troublesome ability to sense airflow in advance to avoid attacks. The strength is still very good, and it should be a small one in Villains. Elite, Masada said weakly while lying on the sofa in Ju paralyzed posture. Since the reporter invaded at noon, Masada didn't eat much. There was another battle using quirk, so the Masada at this time. Hungry. After Masada left the principal's room, the expression of Principal Mouse became serious. That is to say, the door was also damaged by the villains. And the monitoring in the school was disturbed in advance. In addition, the quirk that can sense the airflow was used. I avoided the school personnel, so I was able to invade. Regardless of whether the villains is simply stealing information or declaring war, we can only take a step forward when the intelligence status is unfavorable. First, strengthen the school's guard, repair the door as soon as possible, and upgrade the security procedures. Students must not be put in danger. The mouse principal who only arranged all the affairs in an orderly manner was a bit worried. If it wasn't just too late to discover the existence of villains this time, the entire Xiangying Academy would be completely blinded. Could such a thing be accidental? Chapter 34 Go to USJ. Advertisement. Today's Hero S basics will be temporarily changed to me, All Might and another Hero S. A total of 3 teachers will jointly give lessons for everyone. It has been more than a week since the last invasion. Naturally, the truth was not announced, but it was only explained as the reporters. Calm was soon restored in the school, but the security personnel and monitoring in the school have increased a lot. At this time, Aizawa Shota was standing on the podium, telling Class A for 1 year about the arrangements for this afternoon. Today's course is full of natural disasters and man-made disasters, personal rescue training. Teacher Aizawa still had a paralyzed face, explaining to the students in an unwavering tone. If it's a flood, it's my specialty Jero. It's Hero S.'s job to save the dying and heal the wounded. I'm already a little eager to try it. Hearing Mr. Aizawa's words, the students all showed excitement and fantasized about using quirk to shine in the training. This time the students can choose the combat uniform according to their own judgment. After all, there should be clothes specially designed for special activities. This training venue is far away from the school, so we have to take a bus. Okay, that's all I want to say, let's start preparing. After Mr. Aizawa finished speaking, he took out a remote control from his pocket and pressed it towards the wall on the edge of the classroom. The students' combat obedience revealed in the cabinet on the wall. Energetic. Jada, this class lets us feel the work of Hero S in advance. Yaoyorozu Hyakuma walked over to the Jada who was lying on the table and refused to move. Ah, it's really boring, this kind of course. I really like fighting villains head-on rather than working behind the scenes like saving people. Drooping eyes, Jung said weakly. After all, Masada's quirk was born for destruction, and it is impossible for him to use quirk to save the dead and heal the wounded. The only thing that can rely on is his strong physical fitness. You can't say this correctly, Mrs. Tai. The younger brother Grape, who had put on his masked combat uniform, walked over. Think about it, if you save a beautiful woman, will you be able to kiss Fangs, or even if it develops well? The lecherous and obscene Grape has fallen into his own fantasy, and the corners of his mouth seem to be dripping. No, I don't think if it were you, there would be no chance at all. Taking a closer look at the Grape, which is only a meter tall, he broke his dream without mercy. Lugu also changed his clothes at this time. His original battle suit had been damaged during the battle, so he was only wearing a gym suit. However, there is still an accessory around the neck to mimic All Might's expression. Advertisement. Masada herself is also very simple, just wear a close-fitting vest. Seeing that the classmates are almost dressed, Masada, who is the monitor, also issued the first order after becoming the leader. Everyone just get in the car and find a place to sit down. Not as meticulous as the traditional monitor, Masada thinks that the classmates in her class are all very good people. As long as they give a direction, everyone will naturally take action. After everyone got on the bus, because the distance was not short, everyone naturally started chatting. My hardened quirk feels great for people, but I always feel very old-fashioned. Kirishima, who has always been active in the class, opened the chatterbox. After hearing Kirishima Eijiro's somewhat dissatisfied words, he couldn't help refuting. How can you say that, Kirishima? Isn't the spark between the collision of fists the most shocking place? Your quirk super handsome. I also think it's very handsome. It's also very useful after becoming a professional hero. Quirk. Green Valley sitting next to him also looked envious. Speaking of Izuku, your quirk is also very good. The simple enhanced quirk is very simple and rude. It's almost a force to break 10,000 methods, but I am very optimistic about you. I think of the boxing that Midori Izuku threw in training, Masada sighed. But if you want to say it is both powerful and gorgeous, you still have to be righteous. Ha 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 me. It really deserves these two words. Masada, who was praised by everyone, didn't know what humility is, but my quirk is very physically demanding. The lethality is too strong and it makes me a little scared. Fear of feet. Little Bakugo's quirk is also very powerful. The wife who hadn't molested him for a long time looked at Bakugo who was sitting in the back of the car and said nothing. Is it a walking dynamite bag? Shut up. Magma B**************** D. I will beat you down sooner or later. Bakugo was instantly ignited with a look of anger. Okay, we're at the destination. Be quiet. As everyone was chatting, Aizawa-sensei who was sitting in the front of the air as the air turned around and said. Then a huge building appeared in front of everyone. Hello everyone. Astronaut 13 who was already waiting at the gate of USJ waved to everyone. Welcome to USJ. This is the exercise venue I built to imitate the various natural and man-made disasters that may happen. Advertisement. Wow, it's Space Hero S13. The gentleman hero S who behaved very eye-catchingly in front of disaster relief. I really like her. Cha-Cha, who has become a good sister with Yaoyorozu, pulled her arm in excitement. Speaking of. Cha-Cha also wants to become a hero S whose main purpose is to save people in the future. Masada who stood by said casually. Yes, my quirk is very convenient to save people. Although I also like bloody battles, it really makes me feel more fulfilled to save the dead and heal the wounded. Even the nodding of Cha-Cha hair floated. Really? Then leave the villains you encounter in the future to me. You just have to stand behind me. What is there to say? The invisible sultry girl is the most deadly. Hearing these words that seemed like a confession, Ochako's face instantly turned red. However, Yaoyorozu's face on the side was a bit unpleasant. Number 13, where's All Might? Didn't you say you met here? While the students were still marveling at the scale and design of USJ, Aizawa Shota walked to the 13th and asked quietly. Well, he seems to have consumed almost the activity time on his way here. Number 13 stretched out 3 fingers. Now taking a nap in the lounge. Due to the fact that the sludge event was defeated too much, All Might did not force a shot. Now his body is a little better than in the original. But for All Might's righteous character, there is not enough time for activities. Forget it, after all, it's just a precautionary warning. Then let's get started. Mr. Aizawa, who is an old friend with All Might, didn't take him. Chapter 35 League of Villains debut. Advertisement. Okay, classmates. Turning around on the 13th, I have something to say before class. I believe everyone should already know that my quirk, Black Hole, can inhale anything and turn it into dust. This allows me to face various disaster scenes and successfully rescue others. Spread out my palms. Number 13 continued. But at the same time, this is also a very dangerous ability. Once it is used improperly, it can easily kill people. After all, even steel and cement can be easily crushed, let alone ordinary human flesh. Among the students present, there should be some people who have this quirk. Yes, although in today's society, the use of quirk is strictly controlled. But even so, a slight mistake will still easily kill people. Please keep this in mind for all students. Mr. Aizawa also went on to 13 numbers words emphasized, and he glanced at the careless Masada. After Aizawa teacher's physical test, everyone should already know the potential of their strength. Number 13 continued, after experiencing All Might's battle against others, you should also have personally experienced the power to others. How dangerous it is. Then let us learn how to use our quirk to save others today. Mr. Aizawa was just about to announce the start of the course. Suddenly, there was a sizzling sound behind him, and the lights in the venue were also dimmed. A spiral hole composed of black mist appeared abruptly in front of the central pool of USJ. Then, a thin palm stretched out from the hole, and then the owner of the palm showed his own face. This is a weird man with silver hair and a slender figure wearing black tights and red sneakers. His body was covered with severed hands, and he even wore a palm on his face. And with the appearance of this person, a person with different names also walked out of the expanding Kurogiri and stood beside the silver-haired youth, faintly headed by him. Mr. Aizawa, who saw this scene, immediately changed his face, which was not part of the training plan. Everyone get together and don't walk around. Protect the students on the 13th. They are villains. It was the first time Masa saw Aizawa-sensei's expression like this. It was a mixture of worries for students and angry expressions for villains. Obviously, this is not a drill. Everyone listens to Mr. Aizawa. This is not a joke. The squad leader also yelled. He knew that someone had successfully invaded Xiangyang, and if not surprisingly, this should be that person's accomplice. Number 13. Eraser Head. According to intelligence, shouldn't All Might be here too? Advertisement. The silver-haired young man looked around USJ, but he didn't find the figure he had imagined appearing here, and he couldn't help but become impatient. Hey, where are you? After finally bringing such a large group of people, the symbol of peace is not there. If you kill these little ghosts, he will come, right? Although the expression of the silver-haired youth was blocked by the severed hand, the students present still felt that an endless stream of malice enveloped them. The first time I met villains in the true sense, the flowers in the greenhouse couldn't help but sweat coldly on their heads. At this time, Aizawa Shota had put on the goggles and pulled off his capture bandage. On the 13th, you will immediately organize the students to evacuate. Kaminari, you also try to contact the school with your own quirk. As soon as the voice fell, Aizawa rushed towards the villains that kept coming. But Aizawa-sensei, your quirk is not suitable for group fighting. Just as Midori wanted to speak out, he was interrupted by Masada. Don't worry, Izuku. Mr. Aizawa is now fulfilling what a real hero should do. What reason do you have to prevent a man from fulfilling his promise? Masada was actually a little worried about Aizawa teacher, but he clearly understood that it was not Aizawa teacher who was at risk, but the group of classmates who had never seen blood behind him. As the strongest person inside, the first thing to do is to protect them. Everyone, come with me. On the 13th, students were also organized to run toward the USJ gate, but they were blocked by a group of Kurogiri. When we first met, we were the League of Villains. Kurogiri, who slowly transformed into a human form, said aloud. This time, we wanted to let All Might, a symbol of peace, completely breathe out before we came here. I don't know why All Might didn't show up here, but a personal smile appeared on his vague face. It's my task to stop you. After listening to Kurogiri's speech, everyone was a little sluggish, and the words killing All Might gave them a great shock. I said, is it okay for you to be so arrogant? In the crowd, slowly walked out of Masada's figure. Advertisement. I hate those who pretend to be in front of me. Lava shotgun. Straighten his arms and open his palms. Countless small magma bombs flew out of Masada's palm and shot towards Kurogiri, who was talking about it. Although the attack power is not strong, the speed is indeed good, coupled with the intensive number of attacks, it is also a very practical trick. This is also one of Masada's few remote tricks. However, just when the attack was about to hit, a dark hole opened in front of Kurogiri, and there was no sound after the magma projectile entered. This is really scary, is it magma? It's not good after this trick. Are the current students so good? After avoiding the shock of the madam, Kurogiri slowly said, then suddenly burst open, turning into a large black mist, covering everyone. It didn't take long for the students to be swallowed up by the black mist. What is this? There is no entity. Masada, who fisted vigorously in the black mist, couldn't offset this force. When the light appeared in the field of vision again, Masada had already appeared on a bare mountain. It's not as lethal as Teacher No 13's quirk, it's just a transfer. Feeling that there is nothing unusual about the body, Masada thought. Although the results are not good, but the fighting consciousness is really quite good. Justice. You are here too. A familiar voice came from behind. Masada turned around and found someone who had been teleported here like himself. 100. You are here too. And these two are Kaminari and Jiro. Are you injured? However, Yaoyorozubai on the hillside did not respond to his words, but interrupted. This kind of irrelevant remarks should be said later. Didn't you find that we are already surrounded? Where did these guys come from? That's right, the 4 people at this time have been surrounded by strangely shaped people on this mountain, all with injuries of different sizes. Masada came late, and the other 3 people had formed a defensive formation back to back at this time, and put on a fighting posture. Ah, I found it. But they only have this one shot left. Standing on the top of the hill, I was looking down at the cold opening of villains below. Asterisk.